And welcome to the Computer Game Show. I am Sean Bell and I'm joined by James Farley.
Hello.
And Matthew Murray.
Hello.
I am ill. I don't know how obvious that is.
Oh no, you didn't sound too ill.
No, I feel okay. I'm just very, I'm coughing quite a lot and my nose is just running constantly. Now the coughing I can't really do anything about, but the nose running, I think I'm just going to have to accept that I'm just sitting here on my own recording a podcast. No one can see me, so I'm just going to let it run.
You're just
going to blow my nose.
You're just going to drip.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, who cares? It's only me, right? And yeah,
what an image.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean, I will say it's going round, isn't it? It is going round. That's what they
say.
It's
going round.
That's
it's
what they say. It's going
round. It's that time of year, isn't it? It's that.
Yeah, it's that time of year. It's going around. My friend Clive had it, so that's what they say.
Yeah.
Is it going around your place, James?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? Exactly. Proof.
It's going.
See?
It's everywhere, isn't it? It's everywhere. Right, feedback.
Let's get straight into it. On last week's show, we talked about the Metroid Prime 4 development issues, the fact it's being pushed back and development starting again. We also talked about the Metroid Prime trilogy. Maybe that's going to get a port to Switch. Nick G at ProdCharger on Twitter. Farley says, the Metroid Prime trilogy was fantastic. 2 minutes later, the first was great, the second was not good, and I didn't play the third. Sounds like a cracking trilogy.
Yeah, I when I listened back to the show, I was like, I can't believe I missed that when we were recording.
Yeah, I just got caught with that one, I think, pretty much. I mean,
yeah,
the second one, I said it wasn't great. It wasn't as good as the first, but it was still like Nintendo level good mostly.
And you've heard that the third one is great.
Yes, yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's fair enough. That was ridiculous for me to say that.
Yeah. Sounds like a cracking trilogy with James Farley. But Hans, but are you still excited about the prospect of one on Switch?
Definitely, I might play.
Even though you haven't played the third one.
Yeah, I might get to play.
What if it made you play through 1 and 2 before you could play 3?
They wouldn't be that stupid.
And
I know, but it'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Again, itself. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind playing the first one again because it was a cracking game. It was very good.
Yeah.
Cool. Adam Staff mentioning The Witness. We talked about The Witness. I don't run it. We had 2 emails in 1 week about The Witness. Just wanted to chime in on the Witness iOS chat. It says that is The Witness on iOS. Controls are mostly touch to move here and there, like a point and click. But there's also 1 finger look and 2 finger move. I patented it on PS4, but I think it actually makes more sense on a tablet. It is a crime it's never got on a GOTY list, you guys. For shame. It did in 2016, didn't it?
It did. Yeah.
We absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
it got further than Titanfall 2.
Got through a couple of rounds, right? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I refused to vote for it because I got blocked by Jonathan Blow on Twitter. So
but you were harassing him, so you
didn't harass him. I just asked him what he thought of the chainsaws in Gears of War, and then he just blocked me.
It couldn't have. It wasn't just one tweet. It was a barrage.
No, it was. It was just one. It was literally just one tweet. I just said, what do you think about the Gears of War chainsaws? And didn't like it.
Because he, I think you're forgetting. You said other things about explosions, didn't you? I'm fairly sure you tweeted him multiple times.
I thought it was a sustained campaign.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay, I might have asked him a couple of times about explosions.
Yeah, here we go. It wasn't just the one tweet about chainsaws.
No, it was after he did that thing at that. Which E3 was it? Where he was like being all like sort of like.
Well, he came out and he was like, "Oh, sorry, my game doesn't have any explosions in it or something."
Oh, I just thought it was a bit pretentious, Yeah.
So it wasn't him who said "shooty bang bang games."
No, that was
I
Sean.
thought he said that.
No, that was all me.
Okay, that was the Sean Bell original. I'm fairly sure he or someone else said that, and I thought you just cottoned on. Anyway, Progress Lost has tweeted in. Last week I talked about Piku Niku, an amazing game that's out on Switch and some other platforms. Many thanks to Matt for recommending Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I just watched all 6 episodes, followed by several fan theory deconstructions. It was equally the best and most unsettling thing I've watched online in a very long time. That's because the Eurogamer actually review of that game sort of said it's a kind of pseudo Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. It doesn't quite go as dark as that, unfortunately, and I'll be well up for another game that looks like a child's TV show that goes really super dark. But I'm glad others are enjoying Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I also after I saw that tweet, I told him, "Oh, you should look into the whole like Mars Argo and I'm Poppy and Titanic Sinclair, hole that is YouTube. There's loads
that
of
was just
theories.
a string of words to me. That was
yeah, but Mars Argo is a fascinating.
That was
performer.
like the first couple of episodes of Interface. That was like, we went in depth on that.
I like that he says it's. I like it says it's the most unsettling thing he's seen online in a very long time. Bloody hell! There should be some stiff competition for that title.
Yeah, just get on Reddit, Progress Lost.
yeah.
What are you
Get
doing?
on the news, mate.
Yeah, all that. Yeah, turn on TV for fuck's sake. He also tweeted, "Great to hear that James is back in Xenoblade 2. It's a fucking time sink, and the combat is impenetrable at first, but once it opens up, it feels great. The story has some ridiculously anime bits too, and some of the environments are genuinely dropping in scale. How is Xenoblade Chronicles 2, James?"
I've not played a lot more yet this week because I've been
belter, yeah.
Well, no, because I've been really absorbed still with Red Dead, and also WarGroove came out, and so yeah, I am going to play it definitely because I bought it again, so I want to play it.
I guess I'll ask, how was Yakuza, Sean?
I've not played it.
Okay. Thomas Lamflower 42 just wondered, for April's live show, will we get some belated breakdancing from James, perhaps punctuated by a trumpet solo before moving to a spectacular worm finale? That would be great live content. James?
No.
Okay, well, what's more likely, trumpet solo or breakdancing?
Neither. I'm not doing either.
But one has to be more likely than the other.
Level.
Well, no, they're both completely unlikely to ever happen. So yeah.
Well, yeah. So they've got exactly the same odds. Is that? I don't think that's. Surely, if you were like, we had to force you. Trumpet was surely trump the breakdancing. Surely.
Yeah, I mean the trumpet would probably be like marginally more likely to happen.
Okay, well, trumpet's happening. Thomas.
At least I can kind of do that. So it's
kind of.
Yeah.
Still not out from the loft, no.
No, oh no, look, yeah.
Okay, cool. RetroEd and SMW and some others tweeted us to let us know that you can disable the infuriating mid-air spin jump in New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on Switch. James, have you tried this yet? Because you were the one that had the issue with it.
I've not tried it, although I got lots of messages about this, so thank you. And but no, I will try it. It's just I haven't had time. I've been really busy this week, but
I've had time to play a game. Harrison Hunt, everyone's favourite. Can Matt shut the fuck up about streaming, please? He mentioned it about 5,000 bloody times on last week's episode. For listeners who don't watch the streams, it bored the piss out of me. Well, thank you for the comment, Harrison. We appreciate it.
I thought that was quite unfair. I mean, you only mentioned it like what? So he singled you out. So I presume he specifically means the talking, like, just going through the the schedule.
Oh yeah. I mentioned it a few times. Yeah.
It's like 2 or 3 times. There's no adverts on this podcast, right? I bet if you want, we can spend like the first 10 fucking minutes telling you to buy a mattress or tell you where to get your stamps from.
Yeah.
I feel like just,
have you thought about buying stamps, everyone?
I feel like just a couple of reminders, and like it's only Matt that does it because he's the most organised out of us, and he actually remembers to do these things as well. So I feel like singling him out is pretty unfair.
I mean, it's fine. Harrison Hunt, we've got plenty more commentary about streaming where that came from, so don't worry about that. Also, big fans of Harrison Hunt's love for streaming is Matthew Francis. Enjoyed Matt deciding to end his Resident Evil 2 stream in fear when he got to his first liquor encounter. Yeah, I got tired and I thought, why not end it now? I did stream some Resident Evil in a week, and I did it on Wednesday and Saturday. Wednesday was mostly fine. I had some breakdowns, and then there was this moment where I totally failed to do a puzzle.
I saw this bit,
and yeah, I mean, well, it's not even really a puzzle. Everyone's saying that it's literally the first small challenge in the game. But I absolutely failed, and I got it in the end. I didn't get the answer from people, which is But I mean, basically, there's like a super simple puzzle right in the beginning where you've got like a row of you got 2 rows of 3 desks, and there's like a little note on the desk saying, "Hey, it's your first day, Leon. Your first challenge is to open your desk. There's 2 padlocks in here. Each have 3 combinations." Basically, it said. I've got it written down here because I got confused. It said, "Your mission is to unlock your desk. The key to success and this is in caps, is in the initials of our first names. Input the letter in the order of our desks. There are 2 locks, one on each side of your desks. Make sure you get them both." Basically, it even says, your first task is to remember your fellow officers' names. On every table, there was a little booklet telling me the name of that person, but I was having an absolute meltdown. Maybe it's the fear. I don't know, doing funny things to a man's brain. That's what Sean said in the chat, and I'm going to use that as my excuse. But also, I sort of took it as like the royal we for some reason. Where it's like the initials of our first names, I don't know, in my head I was like, well, the initial of my first name is Leon, is L. So like, where do I go from here?
I mean, you had a bit to drink by this point, right?
I think I'd only had one small can.
Okay.
Then they're not even like,
I mean,
proper can
there's
size.
something else about this. If I started a new job and someone did this, I'd be furious.
Yeah, you for fuck's sake, guys.
Yeah, I would not be
Come
happy
on.
about this. It's ridiculous. Like,
Am I being hazed? Like,
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, I'd rather be hazed than this. And that's basically what I felt like online. Everyone's laughing at me. Saying like, what is this a joke? You know, people thought I was doing it for like a gag. And I don't know. And in the end, I got
Could you
there.
imagine if... Like, because it doesn't seem that weird in the context of, like, the whole station's been evacuated because of a zombie outbreak. But could you imagine if he actually went in on his first day and they're all sat there at their desks and he has to, like, walk over and he's like, right, so you're called this and that's your name, and then walk back over to the padlock and they're all just sat there just looking at him like, have you got it? Have you done it yet?
Oh,
it's just
we
weird.
got you rookie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt, can I ask
impossibly
a question?
awkward.
Please do.
See, I haven't seen this, but I did
You haven't
hear...
seen it?
No, I sorry, I just haven't got around to it. I will watch it, but I haven't got around to it.
Well, it'd be too late by the time you see it, but go on.
But, so, you have to put in, like, the initials and stuff.
Yes.
But there's only 3... Is it there are only 3 options? You can only put, like, 3...
Yeah,
three in.
so there are 2 padlocks, one on each side, and each of those is a combination of 3 letters.
See, I heard, is this true, that you tried to write Leon in
Well,
those 3?
I did start that. What I was going to do, I was going to do Elio on one, and then on the other one I was going to put like the N, and then
what
the
about
S
the
and the
other
K.
2 letters?
Well, S Kennedy. I was going to do Leon SK. I don't know what's happening.
Leon SK.
I don't know what's happening. I absolutely lost it. I mean, yeah, I was obviously incredibly... I was freaking out because of the game anyway. I wasn't in a good place. I had a sick bucket next to me because I wasn't sure how my body was going to react. I got into like the police station. This was still the section where I should say this for like what we're playing, but whatever. I was still the section from the demo, so I sort of knew the layout at that point. But I was freaking out because it's I was doing it for like 40 plus 50 people anyway watching me, and I was freaking out. And it was a horror game, and I wasn't expecting a puzzle straight away. Anyway. We had some comments. Luke at Luke Dolls. Well, watching Matt Murray trying to figure out his puzzle was truly painful. Asimov, Valinor, I can't believe how thick Matt is being. If this isn't in a combination of greatest gaming fails, then the internet isn't doing its job. Yeah, I mean, we had some other people just like, just open-mouthed, can't believe it. Anyway, I did another puzzle after that, and I totally nailed it. Also, I will say one thing. So I was, incredibly scared for, I was freaking out. I was like, what am I doing? I was like, my heart rate was all over the place. I was sweating. And then that moment was just so embarrassing. It totally destroyed the tension of the stream. After that, I was running around the station. I was totally chilled. It was brilliant. I was like, oh, this is so different. Like, the atmosphere had totally gone because of the stupidity in that office. Anyway, good game, and I'll cover a bit more about that in what you've been playing. And I thought, okay, my God, I made a massive ask myself. I think I might have said in the chat on our WhatsApp group, don't worry, James, what I've done is the worst thing any of us have ever done on stream. Or actually, maybe you jumped into one of the other streams. Anyway, regardless. James streamed Deadly Premonition on Friday, and I watched all of that. There's a bit in that, James, which I could barely breathe because I was laughing so hard. Paul Thomas tweeted in about it. Farley, the task has time limits which are displayed on the map, which said get there between 10 and 6. You arrived at the park at 10 to 10 and too early. You then decide to proceed. You then proceeded to smoke one cigarette to speed up the game to pass the time, and too late. It was hilarious to see you struggle so much. Mark Jeffries, this is so frustrating. Why can't you tell what time it is? Isn't the clock big enough while you smoke? Or the one on the bottom left? Or, it was, incredibly funny just to watch you struggle with the basics.
What was annoying about that was the idea that it took ages to drive to this place. Like, that was and also the other thing about that is that I feel so sorry for anyone watching, because it's just me driving through the rain, like, for about 15 minutes, like, to try and get to one place to another. It's absurd. Like, I've never played it like this in a game before, and nothing happens in between, like where you're going to. It's insane. And I was really worried because it took about 15 minutes to drive there, and then I was like, well, no, you've missed the time now. And then I thought I was going to have to drive all the way back to my hotel on the other side of the map to go to bed.
That was so good. And then on the way you thought, okay, I'm going to have to find a hotel or something. And then you drove back, and then you crashed your car into a board, and then the car blew up, and then you had to restart. And you were so annoyed because you're like, I'm so far away.
Yeah,
and then you're scared to smoke. And anyway, it was absolutely brilliant.
Sounds like a good game. This.
Oh yeah. It's so good. That's pretty much it for feedback.
Cool.
I'll cover the stream a bit towards the end because I don't want to, I don't want to annoy Harrison Hunt. But if you want to leave us any feedback or any thoughts, it's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter, or you can email podcast@thecomputergameshow.com.
Okay,
cool.
Sorry, I was going to go straight into news then. I forgot you were there, Sean. Sorry.
That's all right. I'll go if you want.
Yeah, I mean, these transitions can be so smooth. Sean starts could be like, hey, and then...
All I said was cool. I wasn't like...
No, but I was... Because normally, like, when it's David, it was always just like, James?
All right, all right.
Yeah, well, I don't think we need to. You can probably just jump straight in. But anyway, whatever. The news.
But you see, now I'm just wondering about my order of the news, because I think I should probably change it. So I'm going to change it. And
this is a good time to do that.
Yeah, I know. I should have done. Well, no, because it's not my fault that there was all this news happened like just now. Just
it's not all come through in the last 10 minutes.
The last 5 minutes,
like the last hour, it all kind of happened. So I think what we've just seen, I think we'll leave that to the last one, because that can maybe go into what you've been playing as well.
Okay,
yeah. So
right, cool.
Or anyway, in that case, what you've been watching. But yeah,
there has been a lot of news this week. Like, loads of stuff's happened. The first of these is that Quantic Dream is going to inflict their games on other platforms now.
Here we go. Here we go.
So
all over this.
It turns out that David Cage, like, they're leaving like the PlayStation exclusivity and all that kind of thing, because NetEase, which is the same company that has invested loads of money into Bungie, have decided to fund them. And so this is like Simon Dew, who's like the NetEase executive, is like, he's put all this money into Quantic Dream, and now they're going to be developing for everything, it seems. And
Brilliant.
And it's weird because the Eurogamer article that was connected to this was kind of implying that this was happening because of all these lawsuits that Quantic Dream are having. It's like, and they even asked like NetEase, like, what do you think about all these allegations? And they're just like, it's fine, not bothered. It doesn't matter. But basically now, their games are going to come out on everything. So that's.
I don't think it implies it's related. It just says it follows a series of controversies. Yeah. So I guess, I don't know. Which it
might explain why Quantic Dream are suddenly looking for a new investor.
Yeah.
But we don't know, do we?
We don't know. I mean, maybe Sony were not very happy about what's been going on or whatever, and were just like, maybe not fund it. We have no idea. So it's just speculation. But
I will say this is interesting because all historically, Quantic Dream games have looked fantastic. I mean, 71 about the gameplay. I think generally people have been really impressed with like the sort of graphical capability, animation and stuff. And I would say, without knowing anything about development, surely that's got to come with really fully getting to grips and understanding the platform. Whereas if they go multi-platform, are they going to be able to develop those sorts of graphics for a wide number of platforms?
Yes. Nowadays, it doesn't matter so much because the PS4 and the Xbox Ones are basically just PCs anyway. It's it's not really the same.
I guess so, but then you always think, hey, like that's how like say like the Uncharted games and Last of Us, like managed to get so much out of a console, whereas if you look at equivalent games, like they don't look anything like as good generally. And people said, well, that's because they fully understood the hardware.
Yeah, because they were high-profile exclusives. They've obviously had a working relationship with Sony, and that's sort of
yeah. And they can fully optimize everything they do for that console's strengths and weaknesses. Whereas if they say, well, making a game for cross-platform, that's just gonna hit. It's gonna hit everything. It's neither gonna like play to any machine's strengths or weaknesses. So it'd be interesting to see how that affects what they can put out graphically and stuff. Yeah, who knows? I mean, maybe we'll see Heavy Rain 2. On the Switch, who knows?
Great.
Or
Where'd
another
that
biggie.
come from?
Maybe they'll put out like the David Cage trilogy or whatever, on the
Fahrenheit on mobiles. I mean, it might already be on them.
That's already been out. Yeah, Fahrenheit came out on iOS like ages ago. Yeah.
Jesus. Can we have Omicron HD, please?
Yeah. I need to play that game. I do need to play that game. I might play that after I've done Deadly Premonition, because it's still...
That would be amazing.
It's one of those things, it's still like that thing in the back of my mind. It's like I haven't played all of their games yet. I've played the vast majority, just not that one, so...
It will make the others look relatively slick in comparison.
You think so? That's yeah, I know.
It's
like,
really
visually,
old, so yeah.
But I know,
it's arguably like their most interesting game. It's also the weirdest and like least functional, I think. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, when I said Heavy Rain 2, the first thing I was going to say was, maybe they'll release Heavy Rain 2 as the Xbox exclusive, and I thought, hang on, that's going to be like an absolute laughing stock. Like, we've left multi-platform, we've gone exclusive, and we're going to release the game no one wants, Heavy Rain 2.
If you want to play the full story, you've got to own 2 different consoles.
Yes, Heavy Rain 2 on Game Pass today.
Anyway, other news. Valve has called exclusive Metro Exodus deal with Epic unfair to Steam customers. So
they would say that, but go on.
Well, yeah, it's because this is where Metro Exodus was originally, because it was coming out on Steam, wasn't it? And then now it's gone exclusive to the Epic Games Store. And so it's exclusive for 1 year, and any pre-orders on Steam, though, are still going to be honoured. And Valve responded saying, this is the quote they said, "We think the decision to remove the game is unfair to Steam customers, especially after a long pre-sale period. We apologise to Steam customers that were expecting it to be available for sale through the February 15th release date, but we were only recently informed of the decision and given limited time to let everyone know." But then also, Deep Silver have confirmed that Steam customers will still be able to purchase the content or future DLC, if they haven't got exclusivity on that. But this is quite interesting because it's this is the sort of what seems to be becoming like the battle of the exclusives on PC now, and I'm not really sure how I think about this yet. It's odd.
We've talked about this before a bit, haven't we? I think competition is probably healthy, given that Steam were basically just had a complete monopoly on digital distribution on PC, and there was excuse me, Good Old Games and stuff was sort of putting a bit of a dent in it. But not really. And then I think, this Epic Store is the first one to be like, here's a load of exclusives and free games. I think Steam should just, I don't know, buck their ideas up, try and figure out why people are not necessarily keen to. I don't think anyone's actually really upset about this, are they? I mean, maybe they are. People on the internet are insane, but I personally, as a consumer, don't really care. I'll just go wherever the best deals are, or the games I want to play, or Steam's because they just totally opened the floodgates to everything. There's just all sorts of shit on there now. And
that's been the biggest complaint I always hear about Steam now, is that it's just wading through crap now. It's really difficult to find good stuff, and it's just there's because they said, wasn't there, they've released in the last year more games than ever before and all that, and it's just insane.
More than the rest of Steam's history combined. But
then I can also understand some of the argument though for the standardization of having one store for a platform is quite handy, because you then get standardization of communications and the achievements and all that kind of thing, because that was one of the strengths with when the Xbox first came out, with Xbox Live. that was one of the things that differentiated it from like PlayStation Online and all that kind of thing. Was they were like, no, you've got to do it through Xbox Live. Like everyone's going to be using this system, so everyone's using the same software and all that kind of thing. It made things like more stable.
Yeah, and it was quite telling that like Steam started to implement big picture mode, which is basically like so you could effectively use like your PC or the Steam bit of it as if it was a console, because I think they realized people were really enjoying that streamlined like experience, whereas like this does muddy the waters a bit, because like I turn my laptop on and it loads up Steam and Good Old Games and the Epic Store and possibly something else I've forgotten about.
EA Origin.
Yeah, Origin as well. Battle.net as well for Activision Blizzard stuff.
The Discord store.
Yeah. So that's kind of annoying. But maybe the secret there is to just not have any of them load up on startup and then just load them up as
I mean, I've definitely heard people be annoyed with like the amount of launchers that they need to have installed for all these different games. But
because at least
competition's good, isn't it? Ultimately,
yeah, because there was the fucking Ubisoft one, Uplay.
Uplay,
but at least that only loaded up when the game did, so you could still buy something on Steam and then you'd load it up and it's fucking hell, I've got to sign into Uplay first, but you do that once and then you can pretty much ignore it. Whereas everything else, these are all things that want to run constantly. So I suppose on a practical level, it's a bit irritating, but I can't bring myself. To be
in terms
upset.
of are people annoyed, there was a Metro Exodus trailer actually out last week. It was really good. I thought it was fantastic. It's like a 5-minute overview of the game. It had like a voiceover telling you about what the game does. I thought it was a really brilliant trailer. It got me sort of excited for the game again after being disappointed at EGX. But and I was reading the comments, and basically all the comments were either people slagging the game off because of this whole Deep Silver and Epic thing, and or people saying, "Don't slag off the dev. It's not them. It's it's Deep Silver. It's not 4A games." So literally every single comment I saw, and this is only like a few hours after like the actual trailer went live. An hour or two maybe. Every comment was saying just kicking off because I can't. Why have you I think the trailer says launching in 2019 or launching in 6 weeks, and everyone's like launching in 2020 more like when it's on my Steam. So I think there is a section of people that are annoyed by this whole.
Fair enough. I think I just hadn't. I hadn't assumed PC players would be as tribal about that stuff because. It's all in the same format. Do you know what I mean? It's all
Well, the PC as a platform is like everything,
exactly.
isn't it? It's
that's what I mean.
Do whatever you want.
And it's always been about that openness and that you're not just locked into one particular
those comments. It sort of feels like this is now like almost like a console war. Like people in the chat were like, "Oh, you probably have to buy it using V-Bucks, lol." Like they're creating a whole Fortnite thing. They're like anti-Epic or pro Epic and stuff. So it felt like console wars, even though it's just a PC thing. Just in that chat place alone. I mean, God knows what places like Reddit.
Funny what people get precious over, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was the same thing though, wasn't there, when games for Windows launched and everything, and everyone was just.
I mean, that was shit.
Well, exactly.
That's the point there, James.
That's the thing. I mean, that failed because it wasn't very good, and that was like one of the problems with it. But there still was a sort of a tribalism though with it over we've got Steam, we don't need this. It's,
No, you're right.
But I think ultimately this is a good thing. I mean, as well as Epic announced a few weeks ago that the Epic Game Store has 200 million plus users because of Fortnite, obviously. I think Discord have said they've got 200 plus million users and they've got their own store. Ultimately this is going to be better for the consumer overall because competition's good and it will force Valve to improve their product, and I don't know, maybe they'll just improve it for the devs so more devs are less likely to go elsewhere and change their revenue model.
It might even sort of force Valve to think about developing games again, because
that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, because Epic's advantage here is that they do release a lot of stuff and quite a lot of high quality stuff and everything, whereas Valve, what have they got now? There's nothing sort of first party or whatever that they've got that's that comes out anymore.
Well, they've got Dota and
I know, but they haven't got stuff like Half-Life and things like that. They binned off ages ago, didn't they, in Portal?
Mm-hmm. Well, if all this forces a new Left 4 Dead or a new Portal or a new Half-Life, then keep going Epic. Keep going.
Okay, Mario Kart Tour has been delayed.
Oh,
to the
no.
summer.
Oh no!
So well, no, it is a bit of a shame because it was supposed to come out by the end of this fiscal year, so like 31st of March, but now it's not.
Is
because
it a shame, James, that you, the smartphone game hater, really wants to be able to find a way to play Mario Kart in a portable fashion? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'll be honest, I didn't care about this at all, but it's, I mean, I'm sure someone did, and it's like, I mean, it to me, it always felt like the weirdest one to convert to, like, mobile, really, because...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's just doesn't, I can't see how it can work in a really very, like, it'll work, obviously, but I mean, in, like, a very sort of satisfying way, I can't see how it'll work. But Dragalia Lost is apparently finally coming to Europe. And there was the other bigger news, which makes more sense to me, which is that Dr. Mario is coming for Android and iOS. And this is Dr. Mario World, and it's coming in the summer. And it's another free to download with in-app purchases and all that kind of stuff that people seem to enjoy. And it's been co-developed by like Nintendo, Line, and NHN Entertainment, and they're going to like jointly operate the game together. So presumably they're hoping to make a lot of money off it. But yeah, I don't know. That makes more sense. Like Dr. Mario makes more sense to be the Mario Kart does.
Yeah, no reason that can't be good.
So Dr. Mario, I've never played it. Is it like is it a match-free game? What sort of game is it?
So you're dropping in. So there's like, so imagine Tetris, but there's like little germs on the screen, and then you drop in pills in with like a so they're like 2 blocks each, with a colour at each end, and then it's, what is it, James? Is it matching up similar colours to then match up with the little germs, and then destroying the germs, basically?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
It reminds me a bit of, well, not columns, but you know what I mean. It's like that kind of game. It's not a match 3. It's a bit
I'm looking at pictures now. Yeah, I mean this looks absolutely perfect for mobile. This is a mobile game in sort of in style of so many others that are, done well, like all those classic sort of match 3 or like colour matching mobile games. Yeah, this looks like it'd be alright.
I'm just wondering how Mario Kart is going to control on an iOS. I mean, is it going to
be motion controls, or will it be an on-screen key?
Yeah,
on-screen
be
button?
It's going to be horrible, isn't it? That's going to be horrible.
Tilt controls for driving on a phone game can be all right.
Yeah,
Have you ever played Real Racing?
It's not that nice.
But I've got it on Switch, so I don't know why. I think actually this be the one I actually just don't even bother. Okay, I probably will download it, because actually I was going to say I'm probably not going to buy it, but maybe they're not even going to do the pay model, because
that won't be free to play, won't it?
That issue with obviously with Super Mario Run, so. But they had an issue with Super Mario Run, arguably, because it was £8. If that was like £2 or £3, there'd be no issue, and it would have been insane. So maybe they'll say Mario Kart is £2 or free. I don't know.
No, it'll definitely be free to play. There's no way they're going to charge for it.
Okay, but what stuff will Mario Kart offer free in game, like cosmetics?
No, it'll be things like courses, won't it? And like, extra characters and things. That's what they'll do. Yeah. And it'll be one of those. It'll be like Animal Crossing, where it's like you can unlock those things by playing the game for like ungodly amount of time, or you can just pay some money for it. They'll just do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got on Switch. I've new interest, but there's Dr. Mario things. It sounds like it'd be perfect for that. Yeah. In terms of Dragalia Lost, I said previously I was quite excited about it. I did actually just use my US account to download it. And it was just a bit too much for me. I wasn't in the right frame of mind. It's exactly what you think. There's like tons of text on the screen, loads of different systems. Oh yes, it's too much for me. It's too much for me.
It's too much reading.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not here for reading. I'm here just to spend money on microtransactions, please.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read it, am I?
Especially not the terms and conditions. Anyway, the Wii Shop channel has been closed.
Oh no!
Well, no, this is a bit of a shame. I mean,
this. It opens. I'm gutted.
This opened in 2006, and it's just closed now. So I mean, it's had a long run. It's been around for a while, and I don't know. I mean, I felt a bit sad about this because I used that quite a lot when I had a Wii. There was quite a lot of good stuff.
Absolutely, on it. And just from a preservation stroke heritage standpoint, like there are games on there that you cannot get anywhere else.
Yeah,
and it's like, with Nintendo like also being, the heaviest when it comes to piracy, it's like, well, what do you want us to fucking do then? Because if you are literally going to erase games for us, like, people are going to have to preserve them somehow. Like, you can't have it both ways. So, yeah, it's a really shitty decision. I can't believe that it like costs an absolute fortune to keep the Wii Shop channel running. I'm pretty sure Nintendo can afford it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you said. I mean, they had there was Commodore 64 games on there even, and SNK. But then there's also all those apps as well that they put on there that were just interesting diversions.
Well, the Opera browser.
Yeah, exactly. Belter.
That was on.
Everybody votes. I'll tell you what, the Opera browser was very good for watching illegal football streams. It was excellent for that, and it's.
I wonder how many people were still using it on a daily basis. This one Opera on Switch on.
I'm sure it was very few people, but I cannot support the notion of just a company thinking it's okay to just be like, no one uses that, let's fuck it off. It's like, no, that means there are games you can't get anymore, good ones too.
Yeah, and also brilliant music as well. I mean, that was it had brilliant shopping.
The music is the biggest tragedy. We'll always have that though, but that's the most upsetting thing.
So I'm gutted about that. It's incredibly shit.
And for those who don't know, the Wii Shop channel music was so good it was played at my wedding. Jill didn't walk down the aisle to it. It wasn't
first dance, yeah.
But on my wedding invitation, it was like, "Okay, are you coming or not?" It wasn't that rude. It was a bit nicer than that. But are you coming or not? And if you are coming, add what track would you want played? And then we had every single person who said yes. We downloaded every single track and put it into a massive playlist. And Adam Capone's suggestion was the Wii Shopping Channel music. So at one point, dance floor was heaving. That came on. Most people stayed, and Adam's
I was going to say, because you'd be surprised we can get away with it at a wedding, because I had bits of the Hotline Miami soundtrack, no one batted an eyelid, everyone just carried on dancing. There was a famous tweet, someone said they were DJing at a wedding and they just played the entire Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. and apparently loads of old people were coming up and were like, this is amazing, what is it?
Yeah. The Wii Shop Channel music it's so good, and I didn't play the full 10 minutes, which and that mix is available on YouTube. But I played a good couple of minutes, and Adam's face was like a picture. So I bet it's a great moment of the day. And it's a shame. At least they gave us that music. The channel's dying or dead, but the music will live on forever.
But yeah, I mean, Sean's right though, and it's especially with the Virtual Console. I mean, with that, it was probably the most comprehensive one there's ever been, in terms of legally be able to obtain stuff, and it's just a shame because the Wii U certainly never got anywhere near the sort of the volume that they had of that, and but now gone. Anyway,
I just thought there's no HDMI output on the Wii, is there? It was just SCART or
right. It was that.
But you can buy adapters though, can't you?
You can, yeah.
I'm just thinking that might be quite a fun stream at some point to just do a WiiWare send off.
Yeah.
But I'm sure loads of people have already done that.
Don't mention streams. Sean Harrison's
I'm sick of it, mate.
Kittens.
Fucking
Don't mention that. You mentioned Streamlined earlier. He's probably kicking off as we speak.
Alright, what else we got, James?
Okay, so Microsoft want to bring Xbox Live cross-platform gaming to Android, iOS, and Switch, etc. So this is apparently coming at GDC 2019, and the purpose is it's a new cross-platform development system that they're going to be developing. And Minecraft already has this because I've used this with that. You can sign into Xbox Live, for Minecraft on your Switch already, and
of course, yeah,
you can that all works really well.
Does that open a browser or what? How does that work?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it opens. Yeah, it opens a browser, and then it works, which is pretty good.
A browser that it doesn't have.
Yeah. But and apparently, so it's already working with Minecraft. But the whole purpose with this is to then move it over to other developers as well, so they can sort of buy in to using this system. Presumably for things like friend lists and stuff like that. And I mean, this looks like quite a smart idea because it's bringing Xbox Live services to more loads more devices as a service rather than just being tied to a platform. And I could see how that would probably work. I mean, what do you think?
I saw some people on Twitter say today, imagine if Nintendo just use this as their online system. It's well, I mean, that'd be mad, but
that would just be better though.
It would
definitely be better.
It would be great because I won't have 20 Tims on my friends list. I mean, some people haven't added a surname or done something that they've kept Tim from day one, and that's it. Not realizing there's lots of them.
Yeah, quite annoying.
Sorry,
I
Tim.
mean, which Tim? Which Tim?
Well,
are you
I mean, he
apologising to?
knows.
Any of them.
All of them.
As an Android user, I mean, yeah, go for it because there's nothing like there is. When you sign in, sometimes when you play certain Android games, it'd be like, "Oh, do you want to sign into your Google account?" And then it tracks your achievements and stuff. But it's not like what's the iOS one? Is it Game Center? Yeah, on iOS.
Well, the iOS
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
sort of been scrapped, hasn't it, James? I mean, like,
Oh, has it?
No, it's
the app isn't live anymore, is it?
Game Center
Okay.
still exists on iOS, but it's
Okay.
like an option in settings, and there's not an app for it anymore.
Okay,
But I don't know if anything really uses it. I mean, I presume it's used for like matchmaking and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, Apple's attitude to gaming is laughable. Like it's always felt like it's one of those things which is like a complete. Like they're embarrassed of it, and it's an afterthought. And this is why, like recently, somebody was saying like, "Oh, they're going to get into like doing like a game streaming service." I would not subscribe to that because I'm sure it'll be awful, and it would just, they don't seem to understand games at all. It's
No, that's a shame because like when I last had an iPhone, just going back a while, iPhone 4, I think it was. Like that was one of the few things I missed when I moved over to Android because Google's implementation of their sort of, I don't even call it anything, but their version of it is just like nothing. Basically, it doesn't really do anything. So yeah, replacing that with this, if more games start putting Xbox Live in, it's not like it's replacing something that I already like. There's a gap there definitely.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it would be amazing. I mean, this is quite unlikely to happen, but the idea of just using Xbox Live app on your phone or maybe Switch or whatever other platforms you can use it on. Like, it'd be cool just, okay, so you log into that, you say, okay, someone's playing on Switch, someone's playing on iOS, someone's playing on Xbox. It would be great to have a truly unified friends list and achievements and games you played, captures and stuff across multiple platforms. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what other systems are actually going to implement it. It would be amazing if Nintendo thought, well, it has worked in Minecraft, and maybe we have, generated many, many more multiplayer sessions, and that's arguably due to the power of Xbox Live and what it's bringing. So maybe they see a benefit. It would be bonkers if there was an Xbox Live app or something within Switch games.
The only thing with this, though, that I can see potentially being a bit of a problem maybe in the future is because, this is obviously going to like go into the whole xCloud thing, where you can...
Definitely, yeah. This is the
streaming
first
and
step,
stuff.
isn't it?
But then the thing is why would platform holders be happy with this? Like, with having this app on their platform? Because...
Well, I was going to say, yeah,
I wouldn't be.
I can't see Google giving a shit about it coming to
won't
Android, but I'd be interested to see what Nintendo think about it.
Would it potentially be a bit like iOS where, like in this case, maybe if someone subscribes to Microsoft xCloud through the xCloud app on their Switch, Nintendo get 30%? Because if I was gonna get involved in the streaming stuff anywhere, and it would be cool to have it on a mobile platform. Again, I'm gonna need the Wi-Fi, I'm gonna need the 4G or whatever, 5G or whatever by that point. But if it's like if it's an option of like a revenue stream for Nintendo for anyone who buys or subscribes to these services through their app on their platform, then that's the reason I can see.
It's a revenue stream, but then you just be thinking, why are we bothering making games for this when somebody's just going to buy it? Is just going to be using like our competitors' games instead.
Well, because people want everything on every platform, and Nintendo are obviously going to make crap loads in their games. But I don't know. I mean, I don't see it happening actually, but it would be amazing if it did. I don't know if Nintendo would ever do that, but who knows? I mean, 5 years down the line, it might all change. Nintendo obviously aren't going to be anywhere near this whole streaming future. I mean, they're barely on the internet present. So they're probably like 15 years away from doing any streaming stuff. Maybe they see it as a potential way in. Who knows? It's certainly an interesting development, though. Yeah. Although I haven't said that, like I played a game which is Xbox Live, built around there on iOS ages ago, and I just googled it. It's called WarGroove, and it was like an Xbox. It was a puzzle game.
That came out on iOS like ages ago. There was like an Xbox Live powered game.
Yeah, but nothing. I played that, got the achievements. I was quite enjoying it, and then nothing really happened to Xbox Live on iOS after that. But yeah, but do you anticipate this actually working on other platforms? Do you anticipate Nintendo actually building anything on this?
No, not Nintendo. I
No.
doubt. I mean, other developers might do, like third-party ones. I think that'd be because obviously already you've got this with Minecraft. Like you can do this on Switch already. I can imagine third-party developers do it, but I don't think any like Nintendo would jump on this.
The thing is, like, this is at a platform level, but then only a few weeks or months ago, Epic announced that they're making tons of their own matchmaking things free or very cheap within their games. Do you remember that? It's only I think it's all the cross-platform stuff, and that obviously is intrinsically linked with their own engine, of which there are tons of games that use that engine. So, if anything, I wouldn't be surprised to see games which have like the Epic Games logo on when it comes to multiplayer rather than Xbox. But who knows?
Oh.
Okay, do you want some console rumours or not?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, so there's been two sets of rumours this week, one for Nintendo and one for PlayStation. So, according to a Nikkei report, Nintendo may have a new Switch model coming this year. This has been denied since I read this, but Nintendo always deny everything.
I was going to say, yeah, they would. Yeah. So,
apparently, according to this report, the focus is going to be on portability and price, rather than sort of it being significantly more powerful. And to focus on this, they're going to like cut back features that are there already. So this might mean that the dock is gone, maybe a smaller screen, like reduced bezels, that kind of thing.
They're going to cut Bluetooth. Oh no, wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know what this will mean for like the Joy-Cons, because they kind of fit in the way that they do, unless it's like an all-in-one unit or something like that instead, which would then break compatibility with like a bunch of like other games. But I don't know, Nintendo have done that kind of thing kind of before, where things have not really been quite the same. Yeah. But yeah, and then also apparently there's going to be a new online service with a focus on game enthusiasts, was the idea. And
right.
They were sort of speculating this may be like a more expensive online service, and maybe that'll be with the Super NES games and all that kind of thing. I mean, I think that's probably quite a bad idea, seeing as what we've got already is pretty bare bones, and even for what it is, it's not really worth it probably. So I think trying to get people to pony up more cash for something which is maybe they just say, here's some SNES games.
Exactly.
It's a bit
Nintendo's like, great, okay, right, so we've got £20 a year thing for the normies, the people who know nothing, and they'll be happy to use an app which we've never updated. Well, we updated it once for bug fixes, and that was it. And then we've got the actual enthusiast who will play £40 a year for games they might have already bought or owned on a previous platform.
This is going to be like a Kickstarter where it'll be like, if you play £40 a year, we'll upgrade the app. If enough people do it, then it'll be worth it.
If enough people pay up, we'll turn on the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
But
so that's pretty funny. But apparently this is, the whole point with this is because it'll be aimed more at children, like a younger audience, with like a cheaper price and everything. And I can see that makes sense, seeing as that the 3DS is now like coming. This is surely the last year, isn't it, of the 3DS? There's not really a lot coming out, I don't think, this year. So it makes sense. So
they need a platform that's much closer to £100 or £200 than they then.
Yeah, and kids can have it and not necessarily. Yeah, I was gonna say not worry about breaking it as much, but I suppose it's still gonna be, I don't know, because it's still like the spec's still decent on the Switch, isn't it? It's not like it's been out 2 years and we're like, it looks a bit shit now.
No, it's fine, isn't it?
Fine.
It's been all right, yeah.
So I can't imagine, it's not been long enough that it's like, oh, well, that'll be cheap to produce now, because I don't think it will be. But yeah, it depends what they scale back, I guess. But, like, if they did just make it a handheld console, does that remove that much of the cost of it? I don't know.
Well, it would remove. I mean, you see, the thing, that's what's the funny thing, because like in the article I read, they were like, "Oh, they can knock off like £80 already because of the dock is so expensive." But it's like, but the dock doesn't cost that much, does it?
That's what they charge for it. That's
not just charging that much for it. It's like absurd.
Yeah, because they can. And I don't know, in terms of Joy-Con features, I guess you're taking out, all the motion sensing and the which then I guess they do have Bluetooth in them. But even so, it's hard to imagine.
What was that, Sean? How? So you think they'll take out the motion sensing stuff?
Actually, no, they wouldn't, would they? Because it's still, you can still tilt it around. And,
So that'd be crazy if they did that. Like, I mean, they were already going to run into compatibility issues if they, remove some features. But removing that would just like, you might as well just not bother with tons of the games you already played and loved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but also,
who knows?
Go on. Sorry,
they could remove. They could remove the game card slot, couldn't they? But then that would probably be a big mistake.
No, they can't do that.
Because that would be, because if they made it like a download only console, I mean that I don't think that would work, because especially if you're looking for like younger, like for kids and everything,
absolutely
having cartridges is really useful. Actually, it's it's much better.
Yeah, I mean, do you see, how likely do you think this is? I mean, yes, they're going to revise it. They always revise their machines, and it's not outside the realms of possibility for them to cut major features. Just like they, like the they had a 3DS which was 2D, for goodness sake. Well, I guess they renamed it to a 2DS.
Well, that's just it, yeah, because it's like they've revised things, but they've improved them and scaled them back, like in different iterations, haven't they? Like the 3DS was kind of shit to begin with, and then we got the 3DS Lite, which was amazing, and then as you say, we then also got the 2DS, and it's like that recognition that actually, well, kids play on these things and they keep snapping the fucking hinges, so let's make one that they're not going to break quite so easily. So it'd be interesting to see if the Switch splits off in that way as well, like if there is a more premium one and then also one that you're not going to be scared to give to your kids.
Yeah.
And as you say, with the 3DS presumably on the way out, that's going to be a concern. So yeah, who knows?
But even if they make one where it is, the Joy-Con are sort of attached to the side, that can obviously still dock. It's just that they'll have to buy an extra pad.
Yeah.
And in terms of dock itself, I mean, the current dock is rubbish and bulky, and like, well, if you want to buy another one, it's £90 or whatever. So they could easily make like a super tiny dongle, really, and
no, just like if it has like HDMI out or whatever, just plug in an HDMI cable. But I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, that's Nintendo. But then also there was a bit of excitement because there was a new patent that's come that's a Sony one, and relates to backwards compatibility. And so this is a new system, and it's authored by Mark Cerny, and it's supposed to allow the PS5 to fully emulate or whatever every PlayStation software that there's been, all of it.
Okay.
It's the patent details this method by which the machine apparently tricks the software into thinking that it's running on the original device. And the article
that's just emulation, isn't it? That's just,
that's the kind of thing. This would be quite big. I think if it happened, it'd be very welcome as well. Because I think my understanding would be that we're kind of expecting that PlayStation 5 will at least play PS4 games, wouldn't it? If as long as they continue on with the x86.
Yeah,
stuff.
I would hope that Sony will realise that next gen they are going to need a bit of a PR win.
Yeah.
And this would certainly be a relatively easy way of guaranteeing it, because Microsoft have been so on it with the backwards compatibility stuff, that it would be really embarrassing for Sony to announce a new console and be like, oh yeah, by the way, it's just PS5. That's it.
See, this would be brilliant because if you think, I think now, I've not even been on Sony for quite a while, but my PSN has got tons of games now that were PS Plus games and stuff that are PS3 games that I got which I can't play. And if I can suddenly play all those as well, it'd be brilliant. It's but no.
It's certainly interesting, and whether PS5 plays PS4, it absolutely has to. But if it does this as well, that's an even bigger tick. Arguably they've gone above and beyond, rather than Xbox is, they add certain titles to backwards compatibility, and obviously they are adding and have added tons. For this just to do it out of the gate, and potentially, at least from the way the pattern's written, every single game you just put into your machine and it works. That'll be incredible. And that'll be exactly what PS5 needs. I don't have any sort of physical old games. I do obviously have a ton of PS3 games from PS Plus. But if you're someone who's got tons of these games and you're massively into obviously having old games, playing into playing old games, and just in terms of just ensuring that old games are still looked after and you still got them in good condition, it must be pretty exciting for those people.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole the trend for mini consoles or whatever is a lot of fun, but it's not a solution to this stuff.
No.
It's
especially the way Sony implemented it.
Yeah.
Proper backwards compatibility is really the only way to do it. It's just as we all know, they know it's not going to necessarily generate any cash for them, because if you're selling a PlayStation 5 and it's by the way, it plays PS3 games, you're not going out and buying those new. You're just grabbing them from CEX for £3 or whatever. So that doesn't really put any money in Sony's pocket. But again, it's just whether or not they think they need the goodwill, I think. I think they will. So,
or even if it's not by disc, even if it's just anything you can just download from PSN.
Yeah, true.
Brilliant.
To be fair, you could argue that actually, as long as they make sure the PSN library's all there, then people could actually, a tenner here or there for an old PS3 games. That's still money for them. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of PS5 news, there's also, I think, a week or two before last, people saying actually like tons of Sony's own first-party sort of studios have already moved over to PS5, and I think it was the developers conference at GDC last year or the year before where the PS4 Pro was leaked, and loads of people are estimating or saying that they wouldn't be surprised if we hear loads of PS5 leaks or news and information about what the new system could be from this year's GDC, which I think is in April or so. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting old few months for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Right, is that it?
It was it, but it's not, because
oh shit,
there's also other news. Because I mean, this weekend we had like a big news bomb dropped, which was this idea that Respawn were working on a game that was apparently set in the Titanfall universe, that is a battle royale like free to play game that's called Apex Legends. So this sort of broke over the weekend, and then they said, okay, this is all going to get announced on Monday. We delayed recording today so we could watch the the sort of the launch trailer and everything, and so we've now seen that, and it turns out that you can download it you could download it from today, like Monday, but when you listen to this on Wednesday, it's been out for like a couple of days, and it's out on PS4, Windows, PC, and Xbox One, and so it doesn't feature any playable Titans at all, but it focuses instead on these sort of 3-man teams, which are sort of you work together with different skills to try and sort of through a battle royale map, and you have like 60 players going at a time. And apparently, these roster of like different players is going to like increase over time. But what did you guys think? Because we've all seen this now. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, one, it's made by Respawn, so and Titanfall 2 played amazingly well, so it's going to play well, and I think it looks really really fun. I've obviously liked games like PUBG, and I love Fortnite, and I love Blackout, the Call of Duty mode as well. So I'm definitely up for a battle royale game, and this looks like it's a nice, interesting take on it with classes a bit more like Overwatch, I guess potentially. And it's made by Respawn, so it's going to play fantastically well. I was really impressed with the trailer and the demo video that they showed. What do you think, Sean? I
mean, playing devil's advocate a little bit, clearly it looks good, and clearly it will be good. It's by Respawn. They haven't made a bad game. I'm probably going to enjoy it a lot. It does feel a little bit cynical, though, doesn't it?
Come on, it's EA. Of course, it's cynical. It's just, this is like the ultimate EA game.
We talked about how Anthem's interesting because it's like obviously they wanted a Destiny, and now it's like, well, actually, most people are playing Fortnite and not Destiny 2. And maybe EA are feeling a bit sheepish about that, and it turns out they've just got Respawn making them a battle royale game instead. It's also got, I think with the way the characters are, it's got hints of Overwatch as well. I think it is very sort of hero based.
Definitely, yeah.
Sort of really, really distinct classes and stuff, which again I'm fine with. It's just interesting.
I mean, can you imagine? They probably went to BioWare and looking at Anthem, and they were like, could you make this into a battle royale game? And they're like, no. And they're like, let's go and see Respawn.
Yeah, we'll go next door and see what they do.
And if not, Battlefield will do it in March. So
yeah,
and just why set it in the Titanfall universe and then not put big robots or free running in it? Seems strange. I assume there were technical hurdles or whatever, but that seems kind of a shame. But I mean, clearly it's going to be good and it's free, so obviously I'm going to try it.
The first interesting I thought about, this is still in the same Source 2 engine, isn't it? So I was saying, so it's not going to be stunning to look at, but hopefully that will mean that they're going to ensure it hits 60 frames and
because they're always they're keen on that stuff, aren't they? And to be fair, you can I'm not being a frame rate bore about it, but you can tell it really contributes to the way those games feel. So yeah, not complaining about that at all. I think it looks really nice. Anyway, I was quite surprised because minutes before the thing started, there was a leak of the map, wasn't there?
Yeah. Well, that actually leaked this afternoon, but yeah.
Oh, did it? Sorry. Yeah. So just top down view of everything, and it looked really it looked quite bleak, sort of quite muddy and sort of green and brown. But then actually seeing in game footage, it's quite sort of cartoonish is the wrong word, but it's vivid. I think is the
Yeah, and it's all it's
That's
sort of cell it was cell shaded, right? At least that's or was that
A
just
bit.
so was that just cinematics?
Possibly, yeah. The way the cutscenes were in that trailer was really strange. The way the characters were moving, it's like they removed half the frames to make it look cartoonish, presumably like that Spider-Man film. But I didn't really feel like that worked. But it was kind of funny and just sort of set up the idea that yes, these are very distinct characters with different play styles and abilities and stuff. And yeah, I'm intrigued. And obviously they've dropped the hint that there are going to be more characters as well. It's like the end of the trailer is like, and who knows who else is going to turn up? Which again, fine, brilliant.
Yeah.
So imagine, I was saying to Matt, like after we saw it, like imagine like because they're probably going to do like because they've got like season passes and all that kind of thing.
It's like the same as Fortnite's battle pass, isn't it? Basically, like.
But, I mean, if this does really well, like I can really imagine like 3 or 4 seasons in, they're just like, and we're adding a couple of Titans or whatever, like a new game mode or something.
Yeah, that's a separate mode. Yeah.
One of those limited time modes, like the LTMs that Fortnite does. I can totally see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this looks great. I mean, this is just me being picky, but I was thinking like when this trailer first started, I was like, oh, did you see a Switch logo on there? Like, imagine if it's on Switch as well and it's cross-platform. I mean, that's just me being picky.
That would be so good.
But I thought, hang on, if it's in the Source 2 engine, I'm fairly sure the Switch could probably do that. But anyway, it's not. But that's just me being
Did you see that
picky.
story this week? Like Bethesda saying that they were looking into like putting Rage 2 on Switch. It's like
it's the engine runs on Switch. So it's just a case of figuring out how to scale things back appropriately, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you seen? So apparently, there's been a statement from Respawn confirming that this is what they are doing instead of Titanfall 3.
Oh, I mean the headline on the Eurogamer piece is like the world thinks we're making Titanfall 3 and we're not. This is what we're making. But I just quickly scanned that and in my mind was like, half the team are making that, but actually the other half the team are making this. So they're definitely not making Titanfall 3.
I mean, the world thinks we're making Titanfall 3 and we're not. This is what we're making. I mean, that's doesn't get any clearer than that, I guess.
It's like we're not only not making Titanfall 3, we're also not making that Star Wars game either anymore. It's just because this is going to make Mad Bank.
Well, this is what's interesting, isn't it? Like, this is going to make more money than Anthem does.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
It's probably cost about 1/10 of what Anthem did as well. Which, I mean, that's not Anthem's fault. It's just interesting that the way things are shifting, like. Just like this, like
this is everyone was time to launch it, isn't it? It's such.
It is a weird time to launch it, but like everyone was so obsessed. Like stories in games was such a big deal, and that's kind of on the way out again a little bit because everyone's realised, all that stuff about proper voice acting and motion capture and everything.
Lots of lore.
Yeah, people do like that stuff, but it's fucking expensive. And now that more companies seem to be cottoning on to the fact that actually if you build systems that create their own little narrative, their own little stories and narratives and what have you, that keeps people coming back and costs a fuck of a lot less.
Yeah. So I mean people do like the story stuff and everything, but just a lot more people like stuff like Fortnite, which is without
obviously EA are going to be watching this and Anthem very fucking closely, and I think it's gonna dictate how they operate going forward in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, the mood inside EA must be bonkers of all the various studios. Anthem's like going up, and they're trying to make it a massive launch. It's had some problems in like the demo weekend a couple of weekends ago. Now this drops, and generally, like I got an impression Respawn are pretty well loved. People loved Titanfall 2, although it wasn't like a massive seller, and obviously the people behind Modern Warfare 4. The original sort of Modern Warfare game. So, like, it must be wild to be because this could theoretically totally ruin Anthem's party.
Well, I mean, maybe they're looking at it that, like, actually, like, okay, they're both shooters, but they are different.
Like, it's definitely a different audience.
One costs £60 and the other one free.
Yeah, fair point. But all the stuff I was saying about how for me Anthem has to like replace Destiny 2 if I'm going to play it properly, whereas this doesn't. I can totally just take a punt.
Yeah,
on
definitely
this,
not.
And it's not gonna invade my life in the same way that Destiny or Anthem or the Division would or hopes to. So it is a different prospect, and maybe that is how they're looking at it.
Yeah, but it's interesting what you're saying about, you're talking about the big single player campaigns, and actually these sort of games are cheaper. But what has made Fortnite so special and so good is the environmental storytelling and the storytelling through the seasons.
That's true.
And like that will still cost money, but the actual I guess all the people running the constant live services, it's not like we've spent tens and tens of millions on this epic single player campaign and that's it, and it's out there. They're paying people to work on this every single second of the day, be it actually supporting the game with weekly and monthly seasonal drops with the stories that they create from. Because Fortnite's got a whole universe. It is just a battle royale game, but there's Kevin the Cube and there's other things that have come and gone. It's crazy, really, and people I've been part of it for sure. People get really excited when you say, "Oh, this weird thing's happening in the sky. What is it?" And so there is a narrative there. It's just not the traditional narrative that we've been used to in these sorts of shooters up until now.
Yeah, and you could also argue that Fortnite didn't need those things, but they might as well put them in because it makes more money than anything else on the planet. Do you know what I mean? So,
yeah, it didn't need to. Yeah, they obviously basically copied everything wholesale from PUBG, but I guess they made we need to have something different, and argue that they've been writing the rule book on how this thing works. It's not in the news, and maybe it's probably not even relevant for us, but there's didn't Marshmallow someone do a gig the other day in Fortnite and had 10 million people? 10 million people logged on to watch that. And people saying it was absolutely brilliant, like a live DJ set in the game. They're rewriting the rules for how this thing works. And I thought it was interesting on the Sunday night just gone for Anthem in the public demo. They had a big live event, didn't they? Do you see it? The big storm that happened in that game.
No, I didn't. No.
You not see this?
No, sorry.
James, are you aware of this?
No, sorry.
I'm obviously following people, but basically they said, okay, we're going to be gearing up to something special on the Sunday evening. Obviously, this demo is Friday to Sunday. And then from Saturday, or maybe a little bit earlier, there's this massive orange storm cloud in the sky, and then I think it basically built up to these huge enemies dropping into the landscape. It's massive enemies for everyone to basically essentially feel a bit like a public event in terms of the enemies dropping and everyone jumping on the same enemies to kill them, alongside big global server side events that everyone playing the game at that moment can see and can get engaged in. And it really did feel like, they're testing a Fortnite-style event where anyone logged in is seeing this, and it's a cool event to be a part of. I can't believe you guys didn't hear about that, but that happened. Over this last weekend, and I was like, okay, well, that's pretty cool. They're testing this, and they obviously want to create big events that Fortnite has done in recent weeks and months.
Yeah.
Anyway, back on this game, I'm really excited for this. I've got it downloaded now on my consoles. And I'll be interested to see what it plays like. And it's got, just reading the previews now, it's got some interesting, unique things. You can, there's these balloons across the map, and you can basically just zip wire into them, and they fling you back out across the map.
That's right. Yeah, I saw
Fortnite
that.
does do similar things actually, but
because they showed that in the trailer. So you can fly up and then wingsuit in, can't you? If you
that
look quite cool.
And having their class base is also, it's a different take. We haven't seen that in a battle royale game that I'm aware of, and maybe one I'm not too familiar with does that, but that feels pretty new to me. And I'm excited to see what happens.
I wonder if it's going to be cross-play or not, whether you'll be able to play across platforms with it.
They've not said, have they?
Yeah.
But again,
not.
If it's cross unlock is what I need. If they do that, then that'd be really exciting. Anthem comes out in a week and a half or 2 weeks at this point. If this thing blows up, it's I feel so sorry for the team of BioWare. Who knows? This thing, people could play and think, actually, I'm not that fussed, and it's just another one of these, in inverted commas. But if this suddenly does well, and it had 95,000 people watching the reveal, and they say it's out now, download now, they probably had, thousands and thousands and thousands of downloads. If this thing blows up, in 2 weeks' time, God knows where we'll be in terms of Anthem.
Or... counterpoint, it could be another Radical Heights.
Well, that's the thing. It's really hard to say these days.
It's not going to be, but it's it's possible.
Yeah. Right. Should we move on?
Let's.
Yeah, that's it. There's no more news.
Right, what have we been playing? I think, is it my turn to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
I think it might be. I've only got a few anyway. I probably won't be very long, to be honest. So anyone who caught my stream last week, thank you very much. That was proper good fun. I played Passpartout, the Starving Artist.
And it was excellent. I missed this
It was
live,
very good.
unfortunately, but I watched the YouTube version, and it's just, I mean, yeah, it had everything you need for like a perfect stream. Like the game was funny. You looked great. I won't ruin it. You haven't go to YouTube.com and find the video. You look great. The suggestions were amazing. The game was funny. Everything you're doing was good. Yeah, it is a really great watch.
I did very much enjoy it. Although the sketches of me and Matt, not so keen on those.
I thought they were pretty good.
Especially saying that I look like Captain Picard. What's that about? I've still got some hair. I've still got more hair than that.
yeah, you did. Your picture basically made you look...
It was a Star
you
Trek
had less hair
reference.
than me.
It's supposed to be a compliment. But yeah, it's for those who haven't watched the stream. So yeah, basically, it's a game where you are an artist and you have like a stall, like a market stall, and you paint stuff, and then you put the paintings out for sale, and people come along and judge them, and then they buy them off you, and then that money, you then you have like living costs and stuff that you have to consider. I mean, yeah, do give that a watch if you can, because it was a lot of fun. But as a game, I haven't really got anything to say about it. I was just drawing silly pictures, and I had loads of money. I don't know if I just accidentally figured out the trick to getting, your paintings worth loads of money.
Yeah, it's hard to say what you had to do, really, because on one of them I think you might have turned the first offer down, and then after that you got hundreds more, and I was like, well, do you turn down every first offer, or?
Yeah, so I don't really know what the deal is. Such good fun to stream it, and I would recommend it. I'm just not even sure if there is a game there other than do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like I was, because I'm sure I'd seen things about people saying, oh, you start running out of money, you just start churning out shit just to keep yourself going. Basically, I never got to that point. I was taking ages on each picture, and then getting hundreds of dollars, was it dollars, euros, pounds, whatever.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there was any challenge, because before, didn't you say you had to have enough to eat and drink and stuff?
Yeah, so every excuse me, every so often it takes money off you for it. Yeah, your living expenses basically. But it wasn't even close to being an issue at any point. So that was weird.
I guess your paintings were just so good that
they're just so fucking
made
good.
$900.
Yeah.
They were good. I mean, quite a few of those I really would like as t-shirts. I think
that was
brilliant.
Yeah. I was really annoyed at myself because it was only 3/4 of the way in where I realised there is a button to save the pictures that you've done, but only when you put them up for sale. If you miss that and then they get sold, that's it. You have no option to do
that's
that
a shame.
anymore.
There were some classics on there.
Yeah, there's some real good ones. I decided to knock the stream on the head once I drew someone getting their mouth shat in by a giant arse. Figured maybe the idea as well had run dry by that point. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I have been playing the Dreams beta.
Oh, okay.
I still don't get it. I don't It's just loads of not very good little games.
Did you make on your own? Did you make any of your own?
I haven't tried making anything, but realistically, that's not going to happen anyway. I just it's obviously it's really impressive how versatile it is. I've played a little racing game, little platformer game. I've played a first-person shooter, and then a sort of a game that I think wants to be The Witcher. But there's just none of them are very good. I can't. There's no other way of saying it. I'm just why? The variation is really impressive, but when literally none of it stands out in its own right, it just I don't know.
Does it still feel really floaty in terms of controls and that?
Yeah, it does. And it's because it's all because it the way Media Molecule will design these things, it's all supposed to be sort of quite seamless, and they don't want it to be too text heavy and stuff. So the interface is as light as they could possibly make it, but to the extent that I find it a bit confusing. I'm just constantly well, I'm in my little space where I start the game, but then how do I just search for stuff? How do I find things that I want to play? I don't know. Maybe I'm being thick, but I still not getting it, which is a shame because because they lifted, there was like an NDA on it, wasn't there? Like if you downloaded the beta, like a thing came up saying like don't share anything, and then they lifted that, and then all of a sudden all this like sort of quite cool looking stuff was appearing on Twitter. So that was why I was really excited, and I downloaded it, and then just spending 20-30 minutes with that, I was just I'm not enjoying any of this.
Oh no, boring.
Oh,
who's
this?
Fucking hell. What do you want?
Who's that voice?
Why are you talking about other games when there's a Titanfall Battle Royale out? That's
Well,
what
I haven't had a chance to play
Is it a Titanfall Battle Royale, Dave?
Well, you see, I wanted to cancel this tonight and play it, but they wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Right, I thought I'd just pop in, say hello. How are you doing?
Man.
Do you want to introduce yourself to new listeners?
I don't think there's been any, has there, Matt? I don't know. I've been checking
pretty well.
There's at least 4.
No, I know who I am. So I've been playing that Apex Legend game, and I wanted to talk to you about it quickly because I've probably got 5 minutes before my son kicks off again. Haha, funny, isn't it? Go on. How is it? It's it's definitely hard to tell, but I do think that it might actually be hitting a sort of gap in the market, if that makes sense. I was just playing it with John Benton, and we were kind of saying that it's like this is like the 4th big console battle royale game, right? Is that fair to say? So you got you got Fortnite, you got Call of Duty, you've got PUBG, and now this. Only 2, if you're including this, only 2 of them are free to play. So I think, if you're of that sort of feeling that you don't want to have to pay just for a Battle Royale game, you've really only got Fortnite to choose from, which is obviously, it's got its own thing, and it's doing rather well, I think. I read on the news that it's doing pretty well.
I heard that.
Taking over,
So this sort of, it feels way more Fortnite than any of the others. Obviously, it's gadget based. I assume you all watched the stream, did you?
Definitely.
Announcement.
So it's Fortnite. I mean, not obviously because Fortnite the shooting was never great, but this has the great, I hope, respawn shooting, right? So what way does it feel like Fortnite?
So in terms of when I say it's more like Fortnite, it's the speed. The speed is insane. Right, it's ridiculous, and so far so good. Like the game seems to be handling the speed well. It feels slick, really slick. It's not the best looking thing I've ever seen, but in terms of the actual movement and stuff feels great. Obviously, it doesn't have the sort of wall running, the parkour stuff from Titanfall, and to be honest, it's a little bit frustrating that it hasn't because that's such a big thing when you're playing as a pilot in Titanfall. To remove that for this, I don't quite understand. I don't know if they're going to add it later with a new character or whatever. But it's mainly the speed and how quickly you're getting into games and how quickly games last. Well, especially for me, I'm sort of landing and getting killed at the moment, but I've managed to kill a couple of people. It's got some really nice twists to it. So I assume you've seen the stuff about how you're landing in the map and stuff, right? Yes, you've got a jump leader, but I don't know. John was surprised to find out that you can also sort of disband from your squad as you're falling down as well. So the amount of times that I've been dropping with people and they're heading towards somewhere that loads of people going to, and I'm like, fuck this. So sort of like you can hit B and then sort of go off on your own direction. The characters look great so far. I'm really happy with them. Each one that I've tried, their special abilities seem great. Postmaster seems really cool. That's the robot dude. He's got a grappling hook, but also his special ability is this zip line that everyone can use. So if you're at the bottom of a mountain, you want to get the whole team up to the top, you can activate your zip line and everyone can fly up there. Stuff like that. There's this hunter one, the dude with the crow. I've used him quite a bit because if you activate his special ability, everything goes black and white except for enemies, so you can see these little red enemies about and stuff like that. There's just everyone feels a bit unique, but also really quite important. And there's 8 legends to choose from, and obviously only 3 people in a squad. It totally makes sense, by the way, that you can't do this solos. Probably duos might have worked, but the idea, like, it's very
it's focused on teamwork, right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's why it makes that sort of jump master thing at the start essential, really.
Also, can I ask you a question, Dave?
Yeah.
Also, when you're selecting characters and stuff, you can't have like duplicates either, can you?
No, and it's done in a really cool way. So, you go to launch the game, and then it puts you all in the character select screen, and then divides a time bar into 3, and so you get you're sort of in a queue for your squad to pick which legend you're going to be. So so your second pick. So the first third of the time bar goes down, and if they haven't picked, if whoever's first hasn't picked their legend, then it just gives them one, and then you have to pick yours. So, you might have your favourite in mind, but if you're third in that queue, the chance of you getting them is slim. So you've got to keep changing you've got to get used to more than one character, basically. It's a really cool way of doing it, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's a battle royale game, and I don't think it's going to do anything to convince you that you like those games. If you try one and you think they're crap, I can't see it convincing you otherwise. But what I do think it's going to do is make a big dent in the console market for PUBG and Call of Duty, especially Call of Duty, really, because Call of Duty is great and everything. Like Blackout is fantastic, but this, I don't know, man. The gadgets and stuff feel great. There's all the usual stuff that you'll get in these games is in this. It's just it feels like a Respawn game. It plays like a Respawn game, and it's free, and that's going to be a massive thing for people. Even if they're just trying it out. The only thing that I will say is that it's quite overwhelming to begin with, and it's still overwhelming. I've had about 8 or 9 rounds now, and there's a lot of systems in play, and obviously a lot of characters to get used to. So there's a lot of the time we're not really sure what we're supposed to be doing with our abilities and stuff, but that'll come eventually. I'm excited. Actually, I was really downhearted like you guys were about Anthem because I wanted that to be really good. And after I played the sort of closed demo, and then the week later I played the open demo, and I was like, I am just not feeling this.
Oh, you played it last weekend, did you?
I did, yeah, for briefly. I mean, I did a few missions, and it just did not, like, the stuff that was concerning me was not touched, obviously, for the open demo. I think it was just the same demo again. Right. So yeah, I was a little bit bummed out that there wasn't a game that I was to be excited about just around the corner. But now that I've played this, I'm actually quite excited. And I can't wait to play it with like a full squad, because at the moment I've just played it with John and a random. And I've also played it on my own with 2 randoms, right? And it's the first time that I've used like the open mic thing on Xbox Live for years. And it was 2 blokes, and they were alright. They were alright. They seemed sound. I was asking them about stuff, and they said, we don't really know either, mate. But one of the guys, every time he picked up something or found a bit of loot that he liked, he just went, "Oh, baby." And he found a lot of things that he liked, Sean. So for about 5 minutes I was alive, I heard, "Oh, baby," about 8 times. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Wow, nice.
I mean, so are you all I'm assuming you're all going to try this for next week?
Yeah,
definitely, yeah.
Are you going to do a stream?
We might do. We might try and find an evening to play. It would be good, and especially if it's like a three man thing for sure.
James, before I go, because I don't want to just completely ruin the show. How are you finding this stream schedule? Are you getting a little bit? I mean, I know you will, James. I don't know you'd be on board with this.
It's great. It's been great.
Matt's been all right. Yeah, he's not been too intense.
No, it's absolutely fine.
James,
I just said he's absolutely fine.
Because me and James are just putting in 1 shift a week. Matt's bringing the intensity. If he's happy to do that, then that's fine.
Oh, you know I'm happy. Also, James, you mentioned we could stream this.
I know. Well, no, only because I was trying to avoid recording this tonight. I just thought
you mentioned Thursday.
Instead. I know, but I thought we could, bin this off tonight and play this, and then we wouldn't have to bother. It'd be,
Don't worry.
Anyway,
okay,
he's having a lovely old time, Dave.
Muted me.
Hello. You what, sorry?
Is that him? Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Is he gone?
He's gone. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he's back.
yeah. Yes,
Oh,
David?
he's had the same thing that happened to me.
Right.
which
Okay.
is-
Sorry. Wait.
Yeah.
Just quick. Yeah. My cheek was muting me and all you guys. But yeah, James sounded like he had a gun to his head. Matt, what are you doing to these people? I think that covers everything I said while I was muted.
We're having a lovely old time, Dave. Everyone's incredibly happy. Aren't you happy, Sean?
Yes.
Aren't you happy, James?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
See? We're all happy here. Yep.
All right. Well, yeah. Is that it? Is it? No one got any other questions about Apex Legends?
So, I mean, we obviously noticed it's still not the old Source 2 engine. So, but does it run like amazingly well? Just looks a bit ropey. You did say, obviously,
no,
it's never looked stunning, but
yeah, no, I don't think it looks. I think it's lacking a little bit of identity. I mean, it does look like Titanfall. I wanted to say as well because I'd heard rumours. Oh, fuck! Hello, can you still hear me?
yep.
Yeah.
Right, that's right. Yeah, for some reason this thing is going. My phone's going crazy, but okay, I'll push through. Yeah, no, for some reason, like I'd heard some rumours that it wasn't very Titanfall, like it was just kind of just attaching its name to it. But it's definitely got a lot of Titanfall to it. I mean, it certainly has that sort of aesthetic. But the problem is that Titanfall look is not incredibly original. So looking at the map, looking at for landmarks, nothing's really popping at the moment. But I wouldn't say it looks terrible. It looks okay. We've had a few choppy frame rate moments, but nothing insane. Yeah, I mean, you've got. I was saying, I'd love to know the development time on this. I mean, we've only just found out that Star Wars game got canned.
It was probably less than Anthem, I'd imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely less than Anthem. But what I'm thinking, it's probably got a longer life ahead of this. But what I was thinking is that obviously that Star Wars game must have been canned a while ago, and we've only just really been told about it. But I'd love to know how quickly they had to knock this up.
Well, because the Star Wars one.
Yeah, but
I was going to say Respawns are still happening.
Yeah, their one's still doing.
Oh, is it? I thought that was the one that got canned.
No. Respawns are still happening this year, apparently, like holiday, end of this year.
Bloody hell! It shows how out the loop I am now. When's the sensible soccer coming out? I'm buzzing because it's not terrible from what I've played so far, and that was always a concern. I mean, Respawn are incredible anyway, so I'd be more surprised if it was shit. But I'm really interested in getting, jumping on board with the, like learning all the characters and all the abilities and stuff. And I will say this as well: I think we're going to see a lot of criticism towards it about it nicking things from other games. Like even like the menu at the start feels very Fortnite, and there's a lot of Overwatch about it, obviously. But I will say this about Respawn: if there's one developer that can do this, it's them. And this is the reason they have done original shit for years, and no one bought it. So do you know what I mean? They deserve it. They've tried. They fucking tried. And now it's their turn to sort of following other people's footsteps and try and do something unique with it. So I'm excited. It's going to be a very exciting week to just get used to this game and get my mates on there. And really
how much was like the battle pass type stuff pushed or shown?
I didn't see that. I mean, most of the stuff on there currently is like in-game currency. There's not a price next to it. When I searched for it on the store, there was already stuff up there to buy, in-game currency to buy. But I didn't check prices out.
Is it particularly sort of in your face about it? I think.
No. I mean, there's a menu.
Yeah.
Oh god, a menu, Jesus.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about
Shoving it in my face.
There's a menu that like you have to press RB a couple of times to get to the sort of in-game store.
All right, so it's tucked away.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been playing half an hour, 45 minutes, and I've already been given 3 loot boxes. Now, obviously, they tend to do that a lot at the start, and then the more you play, it slows down. But no, it's not been too in your face about it at the moment.
I'm just reading here on the Polygon article,
Give
actually.
it a couple of months, and then EA will do what they usually do. And
Don't change, James. Never change.
On the Polygon article, I say basically that they after the first 15 hours, two things unlock, and then you can gain the other one with another 30 hours of play, or they cost $7.50 each to buy.
What, for one crate?
to purchase those. No, these are the unlockable characters. So one's unlocked after 15, the other one after another 30. So that's 45 hours in total, or you can pay in total $15 to get the two.
Oh, yeah, but that's all right, isn't it? I mean, when you
I
think
mean, I don't think I'll be rushing out. Like, I don't think they'll be like, oh, I have to have that character. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, it depends on how good they are.
Know, you probably would. But that reminds me of they've obviously taken that from Rainbow Six Siege, because if you remember, it took ages to unlock characters, or you could just buy them as DLC, straight off the bat. I think that's quite a good way of doing it. And let's face it, man, you know what we're like. If we get into this game, 45 hours is going to be nothing. We're going to be hammering it. So, and I guess, a lot of that also depends on how many kills you get per round and how long you stay alive and all that stuff's in there. But yeah, I mean, we'd all want a Titanfall 3, but we've all got to understand that there's reasons why that's not going to be possible. So if this gives us that respawn shooting feeling, then and this is the only way we could have it, then I'm definitely excited.
I can't wait to try it. It sounds great.
Cool. All right, wicked. Well, I look forward to hearing the show. I'm sorry for gate crashing. I said to the boys beforehand that I'm playing this now. Do you want me to just quickly call in and give my opinions? And there was silence for about half an hour. And
well, we were watching the trailer.
They were in the other group sort of saying, how do we say no? So I made it extremely awkward, and now they had no choice but to let me on. So, okay. I love you all. I miss you all. Have a great show. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, take care.
Bye.
I was talking about dreams, wasn't
Who
I?
the fuck does he think he is?
I know. Yeah, dreams. I'll go back and I'll try again probably, because I know there is because at the end of the day it is just a toolkit, and of course people are going to make good stuff. I've just not found any of it yet.
Do you reckon is somebody going to recreate Little Big Planet in it?
Possibly. I mean, people have already done PT. That's in there.
The PT reconstruction was amazing. I mean, I'm not going to jump in and play it. And,
that's what I mean. It's so impressive how versatile it is. It's just, as I say, just everything I've played, I've just been a bit like, why would I play this instead of the game it's very clearly trying to be?
I saw. I'm not sure it was on Variety or on a gaming site somewhere. They had the best 15 games which ape other games demos, and it's amazingly impressive. People have made first person shooters. They've made a Portal game, all sorts, you can say, well, that's just basically what's the point of creating shitty versions, but surely that's just a way of giving these people. It's a good way to learn the tool set, I think. If I was going to make a game in this, I'd be like, well, haven't you got my ideas now, or I'm not sure, let's try and learn what this thing can really do by recreating something I know very well. So I think that's a perfect way to start. It's where we're going to be in 6 weeks or 6 months time. It's pretty exciting just to see it now. I mean, I had no interest in Little Big Planet, even as interesting as all the various demos and stuff that people are making. This feels way more varied in what people can make. I still don't feel the need to rush out and buy it, but and it's a bit of a shame you said the controls are still a bit woolly, which
and again, I don't know if that's down to the way people are implementing them when they're making stuff, or if that's just the way it feels, and that's that. I don't know. I will have another go, and I'll report back next week. The only other thing, again, only a brief mention. It's more just fun, the way this has come about, rather than the fact that I've played it. So I've been playing a bit of Black Ops 4. Bit of Blackout, bit of Team Deathmatch. But it's actually, there's... so when we had Isaac, and Nu got to, I say got to, she had some time off, because having a kid is really fucking
lovely little holiday.
Yeah. And obviously she met loads of other nearby mums and stuff, and there was one she got on really well with, and she was like, her husband's a bit of a nerd and he plays games and stuff. Turns out in his garden he's got an outbuilding which is his home office, and it's full of gaming PCs, and every Thursday he has people round to play games and eat food.
Oh wow.
And it's fucking great. So bless him, he's been asking me for ages, and it's just finding the time to do it. And I finally went around last week. And we just played Black Ops 4 for 3 hours and ate beef baps.
Oh, what? A little LAN party?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Wow.
Obviously we're all online, but yeah, it was just yeah, it was just really nice. And it's just, like it's been ages since I've done anything like that. It's interesting though, like they're all PC guys, and I like even though I do, I have a gaming laptop. Like I'm not a keyboard and mouse guy, so I was pretty much getting slaughtered throughout.
The console noobs here, boys.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Pickings.
Yeah, there was a bit of that. But no, it was good fun. And yeah, Blackout. Like because I'm not massively, well versed in battle royale games. Like I've never played PUBG. I've only played a bit of Fortnite, but yeah, properly enjoyed what I played of Blackout. It was so last week on the PC they still had this down but not out mode. So you when you play as a team, like basically as long as your team, like someone in your team stays alive, there's like there is a countdown when you die, and when that runs out, you can actually come back in. Which was really good because like I was surprised to find out that is only like a temporary mode, to be honest, because to me that's just how it should work if you're playing as a team, because otherwise like if one person dies, they've just got to wait for the rest of the round, or wait for all their mates to die. So that seemed odd, but just really nice to play a battle royale game that is obviously functionally it's Call of Duty. And just playing team deathmatch again. It's been a while since I've played any Call of Duty. I think Modern Warfare 2 was the last one I played, so going back a fair while. That hasn't aged, has it? That
it's still immensely fun. It's still immensely overwhelming when you first start and you go around in circles and keep getting shot in the arse, but it is brilliant. I mean, when Black Ops 4 came out, I just thought, well, we're sure we just Scoop Hammer and Blackout, but I still played a surprising amount. It wasn't massive, but a surprising amount of multiplayer, and that was it was great. It's still relentless. It's still quite difficult if you just go in and here and there, but it's still brilliant and fun.
But still, loads of fun. That was really cool. I'm probably going to start doing that regularly. Although interestingly, obviously now I'm wondering if I can get them all to download Apex Legends instead. But
play a real game. Come on.
What will be interesting? There was a big TV in the room as well, so part of me was like, shall I just bring my Switch and my dock at some point and try and get them all on Overcooked or something? But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'll give it a few sessions before I start trying to convert.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, how many LEDs were in that room? Like, I'm sure you could put it up in space, right?
There was a lot of like red and blue lights everywhere.
Yeah, I bet like the wife or whatever looks out and she sees like that shed of just colours coming out every. Yeah. It was not a shed, but every single window. It was like, can you have black curtains or something? We can't. It's like daytime out
lighting
here.
Up the whole neighbourhood. So it was nice. I'll go again. I don't think it'll be every week just because time.
Yeah. Does
cool.
playing that, does that make you want to play more of these battle royale games, or are you just not fussed?
Certainly, it does. Like, when you just have like a real life context for a game like that. That suddenly it's like, fuck it, I'll get into this. Why not? Even though, left to my own devices, I probably wouldn't have. It was nice.
But you saying, battle royale games should be that way, whereby you can always pick someone up, like regardless of whether the counters come down. But some of like the best memories I've got from games like from PUBG and Fortnite and Blackout as well is when the other three are out and there's only one left and the rest of us are shouting down the mic like, is someone over there? Or it's like the tension is amazing for that. Yeah. Well, that absolutely amps it up. So I think it would miss a bit of the magic if anyone could just keep reviving people and getting people up. That's sort of
as I say,
it's great.
That was only a temporary mode. So I think normally it's just once someone's out, they're out, and then you just got to wait for the rest of their team to either die or win. It was good. Liked it.
Nice one.
That is all. James, you're not spoken for a bit. What have you played?
Well, I've still played Red Dead Redemption. I'm still playing through that, and I've just hit Chapter 6.
Oh, okay, so you're getting it now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long is left. I mean, is there like
Chapter
roughly...
6 is quite a big one.
Yeah, I know there are reasons you can't really answer that question.
Yeah, and that's the problem because, you see, there's nothing really much I can say about this now because everything I want to talk about it is just spoiler stuff that's all story relating. Yeah. But I'm at the stage where I don't really want it to end anyway because especially because of things that have happened, I just don't want to finish it. Like, I really, really don't want to finish it. And,
I mean, see how you feel by the end of Chapter 6.
Really?
I mean,
okay.
No, there's a lot of like, oh, the next mission is all the way on the other side of the map.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
off you
that
trot.
really does get bad towards the end, but story-wise,
Yeah.
it's just
Like,
better and better and better.
Yeah, like I still loved it. It was just by the very end of it, I was ready to play something else.
But it's like, I mean, Arthur has become probably like my second favourite character like ever in a game, I think.
Yep.
Especially because of the things that's happened to him, and it's just I just love the reactions to everything and just the way he talks, and it's just he's just fantastic.
Man, it's all about Sadie Adler. She's an amazing character.
She is amazing.
But I'm not in any rush really to finish it, but there are other stuff to play, and that's the thing. But it's just, I know, I've just found it so easy to sort of just, every time I switch it on, I end up not really doing that much like of the missions really, and just ending up like doing stranger stuff and like side missions and stuff like that, because I just keep wandering off the path, and it's just, I've just been rewarded every time I've done that. So it's like with interesting stories and stuff. So I just don't feel like I want to end it. But I guess it will happen at some point.
Yeah.
And I mean, the other game I played mostly a bit of this weekend was WarGroove, because this came out on Friday.
Yeah.
And you see, I was a big fan of like Advance Wars on the GBA and then on the DS and everything. Mm-hmm. But then, I mean, I was looking this up earlier. The last one of those games came out like 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's crazy.
It is insane, isn't it? You forget quite how long ago it was.
Yeah. And it's funny because, I mean, Sean, you played them as well, right? Like the Advance Wars games.
Yeah.
Didn't you find that they kind of got progressively worse, though?
They did a little bit, unfortunately. They tried to sort of add a bit of complexity and actually just sort of broke it and then made it a bit better again. And
they kept on tinkering like with the formula, and then also, I mean, the thing that I disliked the most about like the later Advance Wars missions was, you had like all like the superpowers and everything you could use, and it like you could like completely turn the tide of battle or whatever, and it just felt really unearned, like when the enemy did that to you or whatever, and it was just really, really irritating. So, I mean, so far though, WarGroove feels a lot like the first game. So it's a turn-based strategy game where you have to overcome like an enemy on a grid-based map, and there's like mission conditions that you have to sort of try and fulfill. And so some of the missions you start off with just like a handful of units, then have to adapt to the conditions, and other ones you have like the option of being able to like build new units to assist you. Mm-hmm. And it uses exactly the same system as Advance Wars does, whereby if you like capture buildings, it then adds funds like to your barracks and stuff, so you can like buy more stuff. Yep. It's like, so there is that sort of thing of like you have to kind of keep pushing forward so that you can like capture enough buildings. And if you're like, one of the ways that you can win obviously is by like crippling the other player's economy, just by basically taking out all of their ability to make any money so they can't create anything, which I always quite enjoy doing it that way. But it also has the same kind of system whereby you have to like consider what units you're deploying depending on what you're up against. So you have like situations where like the pikemen are good against like cavalry and stuff like that, and trebuchets are good against buildings, and you have like special units which there are like these like special like elite units which if you're one of those gets defeated, then it's like game over basically. But then also the same for if you do the same to the enemy as well, and they are like super powerful, but also can get taken out if they get like ambushed, which is like, so you have to be like a bit careful with what it is. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I found the difficulty curve is it spikes quite quickly, and which I don't feel it gives you. Like there's very long tutorial sessions at the beginning which are a bit too long, in the sense of like, this is how this works. It's like, I understand how this works already, it's fine. But then it just becomes quite difficult very quickly, but not to the point where it becomes really, really irritating. It's just like sometimes you have to like intermissions, and then you kind of fail them so that you can learn from that experience, and then just be like, okay, I need to approach this in a different way. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm a bit concerned about the special units, because they do seem to have like those like the special powers thing as well, like with Advance Wars, but it does seem limited enough so far that it's not like a massive concern.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I've heard the AI is really good in this, so that if you try and flank them, they'll work that out, and they'll retreat. Retreat their own units getting killed basically, and one thing, I mean, I haven't played an Advance Wars game before, and I was quite looking forward to this. One of the things I did here, it seemed a little bit annoying, is that some of the missions, particularly like the campaign, can be like an hour long, and you can't save in the middle of them.
That's not entirely true. Well, the thing is that that's always been true of Advance Wars anyway. Like, as in not at the beginning of campaigns, but in like towards the end of like an Advance War campaign, they could go on for like an hour and a half or whatever. But the beauty of that was it was a bit like Civilization in the sense that it's that just one more turn kind of thing, whereby you don't like when I used to do that in Advance Wars, I'd never notice the time go by because you just get so absorbed into what you're doing. This seems to happen a lot earlier with this though, because most of the missions I've done have been at least like half an hour or or so, to sort of get through, which is maybe a bit longer. But you can stop like at any time, and you can quit the game, and then it will return you back to where you were. If you were like mid-turn or whatever, it will return you back there.
Oh, okay. So you can exit and come back to it. The way
you can do that.
About it, there was no saving or anything.
No. There's no saving within. Like what you can't do is you can't like save and then do a turn and then like load your save and then try again. If you see what I mean.
I meant more like save and then play another game and then come back to it.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay,
you can
totally right, so you can't keep like 5 separate save slots in case you make a bad decision. And then,
you can't do that. Yeah, so they've obviously tried to stop people. Like it's the save spamming, isn't it?
Save
stop you from just like sort of brute force your way through it. So yeah, you can still save it though, and then go and play something else, and then come back to it. It'll resume within the same map.
And it's got asynchronous. It's got asynchronous multiplayer, hasn't it?
It has. Yeah, It's got. I mean, I've not dabbled with all the options it's got, but it's got a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, you can play cross-platform as well. It's got like an incredibly intricate like map making function as well, where you can like basically build something which is as in depth as like the campaign that you're playing. There's because
you can write like dialogue and stuff, can't you? And actually,
there's like an awful lot there that you can do. I mean, the campaign. I mean, I'm just playing through the campaign at the moment, and the visual style and like the story, they're fine. But I'm not. They're not something I'm getting terribly excited about. To be honest, it's like a medieval setting. But I mean, this is the thing though, because they were talking about, especially on PC, you can like model this. So almost certainly someone's going to mod this with Advance Wars stuff,
right.
which would be interesting. But yeah, I mean, Nintendo don't seem interested in making another one of these. So this is good. This is there's just a lot here, and I would say that if you like it, it is worth playing. It's I mean, Sean, you were interested in this, yeah?
I was on the fence. As I say, I'd played it at Res a few years back and just found like the sheer number of units and the way it showed you like what was good against what just really unhelpful.
I think they've improved that.
Okay,
because it's especially because I mean when you start out you don't have a lot of stuff. It does sort of gradually introduce things, and some of the missions are quite interesting. Like the way compared with how like Advance Wars was and things in the past, like there's one of them like really really early on where your goal is basically to evacuate a village, and you get like these villagers which obviously they can't fight or anything, and you have to like load them onto like a wagon which is like an APC,
right.
And then you have to like get it from one side of the map to the other, but then you have to like keep like going backwards and forwards and picking them up whilst also trying to defend them from like attack. So you have to like make all these decisions about like where are you going to send the troops, how are you going to make the villagers walk so they can get a bit closer, so they can get on the wagon, like a bit quicker. Just all that kind of stuff.
That sounds good.
It's very enjoyable. I mean, I've only got irritated once, and that was on. I mean, I've always disliked more missions where you can't build things. Like when you're just like stuck with like a load of troops, and it's like, okay, this is basically a puzzle you're trying to solve here. Whereas when it's like you can build stuff, then it's like I can overcome this basically just by running a good economy, and then it'll be fine.
But there is a puzzle mode as well, isn't there? Where you just
The arcade mode, is that what the puzzle type things are? The much shorter 20 to 30 minute maps.
I think there's arcade and there's puzzle and then there's campaign and there's like multiplayer as well. There's like a whole bunch of stuff, and apparently there's more DLC coming as well in the future. There's more stuff happening. So it's. I mean, I really would say it's definitely worth playing. It's especially. I mean, it's not massively expensive either. I mean, it's like 15 quid.
Yeah.
It's
what's amazing, Chucklefish announced that only day 3 that they're broken even, and it's so great to hear that.
Wow.
I don't know how big the studio is, but it's always good to hear about an indie success, and the fact that after just 3 days they've already broken even. That's great to see.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely worth a look.
Cool,
it's good. And that's all I've got.
And you played Deadly Premonition, of course.
I don't want to talk about that.
Fair enough. Fridays at 9 p.m. Matt.
Yeah, he does want to talk about it. He does want to stream it, I think. Anyway, I have been playing Resident Evil 2 because I'm a madman. I know it's been so I streamed this twice actually. I streamed it on Wednesday night, and I was, as I mentioned earlier, incredibly sort of intimidated and worried about it. I'm not a fan of horror. In fact, I hate horror, which is weird because I used to clearly love horror. In fact, like when I watched like Blair Witch Project in my room on my PC with like headphones on in a pitch black room, and maybe that broke me. I don't know. Like the end of Blair Witch still shits me up to this day.
Yeah,
and I still have that sort of vision imprinted on my brain. So like that. So and I was obviously brave enough, or wasn't bothered enough at that point to watch that. So that was fine. When I was much younger, I used to watch like Friday the 13th, the TV show. Like my mum used to record that for me. That was fine. Clearly something's happened as I've got older, and I know, not a fan. Hate jump scares. Hate being chased. I absolutely hate. Not even jump scares. I just hate being made jump. Like Elodie come up to us in the kitchen the other day, and made us both jump. Me and Jill. Like, just don't do that. Like, it's the. I always got really angry with her. It's like I don't care if you do other really bad things. Just do not make me jump ever again. I swear to God, I just hate it.
I love the idea that happens, and then you just run out of the house.
I
just
don't
down
run,
the street or something.
Incredibly angry. It's like I don't know. I don't know. Not a fan of all those things, and therefore I decided to play Resident Evil 2. Mostly, obviously, I didn't finish the first one. I played a bit. I know how iconic it is. Anyway, it's a fantastic game. It looks fantastic. Sound wise, is unbelievable. I've got a pair of surround sound headphones, but I think it's this binaural audio that they've got in a game. Like even when you're on like the police station, you can hear like, little creaks here and there or sounds, and you like suddenly turn around thinking there's a zombie or something coming down the hallway or behind you. The sound is utterly fantastic, and that's a massive part of the atmosphere. And yeah, it feels like an old game, but it also feels really, really modern as well. I mean, it's got like sort of a much closer over the shoulder camera. Obviously, the fixed camera angles have gone compared to the other one, so it's a bit more like Resident Evil 4-ish, and it's over the camera stuff. Every zombie is terrifying, even if you found ways to deal with them. Either you can you can use a lot of ammo to shoot them in the head, and you can fire on the move, but if you stand still, your reticle crosshair, it decreases from a larger size to a smaller one, and that's when, if you wait for it to get to a smaller size, you can get critical hits, although those are RNG, so they may or may not happen.
Oh, really? That's a bit.
So, but I mean, I think on one of the podcasts I heard a few weeks ago, they're like, well, just wait and get him right in the middle of the eyes. That's a crit every time. I don't think that's the case. It does feel RNG-ish. So you can waste ammo. That you can spend those ammo doing that, or you can shoot them in the legs and run around them. But it doesn't matter. I still think every zombie I've seen, I'm still like, oh God, I'm still pretty terrified. And I've been pretty terrified of the game in general. But it's so good that after I finished playing on Wednesday and then went downstairs for a lie down, I just really wanted to play the next day. And I think that says a lot about the quality of the game. That even if I'm I'm clearly freaking out. I know anyone who's watched the streams can attest to. I'm freaking out, but there's an absolute quality to it, and I know there's lots of fans of horror out there. Do you two like horror films?
I do,
stuff?
yeah. I mean,
you don't, do you?
As I said,
no, I'm terrified.
But you do, don't you, James? So
yeah.
So there must be a thrill to being scared. Is that how you describe it, or?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of like. Yeah, there is a kind of like an adrenaline sort of rush that you get from it that I do find enjoyable. And I mean, the thing with Resident Evil 2 when I played that demo is I was also surprised by how many shots it took to kill things. I mean, is that a thing throughout the game?
It can definitely take a lot. I mean, it can typically take, let's say, 3 to 4 headshots for a zombie to go, or maybe 2, 3, or 4 for them to go down. But that won't necessarily kill them. They may also go back up again. That's why typically I've been waiting for this like crit shot, and when you do that, that's when the head explodes. But the easiest and best way is either just to run around them if you can, although obviously they're always positioned in like tight corridors, or you can bait them so they create an opening, or you can shoot them in the leg. That obviously they sort of like they don't fall over, but they sort of bend down, and that's an opportunity to go past them. Like this game, I feel like more than any other like Resident Evil I've played in the past, it's really all about ammo management, and maybe that's because I'm in like the early hours, early hours of playing the game, or maybe I changed it later.
That's what it was always about in the past, though. Like, it was the point where I remember when I used to play the original ones, it was always like you were kind of scared to use weapons because the ammo was so scarce. Like, like whether you were going to pick anything up or not. And that was one of the things that I always kind of enjoyed about the earlier games compared with, say, Resident Evil 4, which I felt it became much more of a shooter.
Oh yeah, it's much more an action game, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, I found I'm always feel like I'm on the edge of having like not enough ammo, and like I've got a shotgun now, but I'm trying not to use that. What I'm trying to do mostly is if I see a zombie or zombies, I would try and bait them so they come towards me, and that creates an opening for me to run round. But then the issue is that they're still in the environment, or if I'm feeling cocky, maybe I'll go for the crit shot. But often I'll just like shoot them in the leg and run around them. But that doesn't mean every time I have to go back through the building I'm in or wherever I am, I'm like, well, I know there's people in that corridor. And it's not like other games where I'm like, well, they're just zombies, I've dealt with them, I'll just run past, or I'm not scared. Like, everyone presents a challenge, which I think is really excellent. And yeah, so there's a lot of just managing the zombies and stuff in the area. So yeah, so I finished the stream Wednesday, and I wanted to go back. I really wanted to go again on Thursday, but I was like, no, I'll wait. But I did go back on Saturday, and I played for another couple of hours. I still haven't met Mr. X yet. I'm absolutely dreading it. Well, I mean, he's part of him has appeared in a cutscene, shall we say, but he hasn't appeared in the environment yet. So that will definitely happen on the next stream.
Oh, that's going to be amazing. That's going to be amazing to see.
Yeah,
because he was scary on the PS1. Like, I can't imagine what it's going to be like on this. It's going to be. I know.
Interesting. I mean, it's been really intense. Just like there's been a fair few jump scares, and I've like properly like yelped and screamed on the stream, which has been embarrassing. But then that I can handle. It's the getting chased, and also I'm not looking forward to it. Anyway, I will be streaming, if you listen to this on Wednesday tonight, 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/The Computer Game Show. So just watch that. It's gonna be. I'm sort of dreading it, but also it's such a great game. I cannot wait to get back to it, and I think that says everything really. I think that really shows the quality. I'm playing that, and I can't wait to carry on with that. And I'm playing Bloodborne. I killed Father Gascoigne in the Sunday night stream. Last Sunday, and that game is just absolutely excellent. I mean, I loved it from the first stream. It's just so brilliant. The Father Gascoigne fight, it was so annoying because on the stream before I had him to within like one hit, and so this one was like, okay, new stream, I'll get it done pretty quickly. It took like 90 minutes of me like making mistakes, and I got in the music box and then tried that. Anyway, I eventually did it. I shouted twat at the top of my voice after I killed him. I don't quite know why I did that. Anyway, so I'm still continuing with that. I'm not sure the name of the area, like the cathedral. People are probably shouting when you listen to this, but yeah, I'm in the next section. I think it's like the new hub area. I've met that crispy guy on the floor, and anyway, I can't wait to get back to that Sunday night. That's cool. Pretty much what I'm playing. I started playing a New Star Manager on Switch. Probably have a bit more to talk about that next week. I
need to play some more of that.
It's mostly Resi and Bloodborne, I guess, as well. But yeah, that's cool. That's it for me. Not too much, but that's it.
It's been a weird couple of weeks, hasn't it? I don't think any of us have played much. I mean, obviously James played WarGroove, but it's mostly been business as usual, hasn't it? Like the ones I've talked about have like been things I've played for like an hour, and that's been that.
Yeah, but obviously we're in February now, so this, this is the busy month when obviously Anthem is out, but plenty of other things are out, and now we've got Apex Legends, and we've got, I think there's a Division 2 beta like next weekend or this weekend or very soon.
Yeah, it's this weekend, I think.
There's lots of things happening at once, but
Kingdom Hearts 3, guys, you picking that up?
The what, say?
Kingdom Hearts 3? I know you're both
No.
big fans.
I had that on like in the background the other night. I think I was playing on my Switch, and I thought I'll watch. And it's bonkers. I mean, I've never played any of those games, and there's like a guy playing in like the Pirates of the Caribbean level or planet, whatever, and he was really impressed because he's like, this is literally like almost stuff I'd done from the film, but with Goofy in the background. It was bizarre.
See, everything I've heard about the game has been largely negative from people that are like big fans of the series.
Oh, really?
They said
Really?
Yeah, they said it wasn't a great ending to the whole thing, and or it's also just because, like Matt said, it's incredibly convoluted now because there's been like about 11 or 12 games or whatever in the series. This is the third like mainline one, but then the story's gone off in so many different directions and been off all over the place that it's a bit of a mess.
There's a very good Polygon video about how to understand the story of Kingdom Hearts, which I would thoroughly recommend. But yeah. I've just seen a lot of people saying stuff like, it's like it really feels like a PS2 era game, not in terms of visually, but like in terms of like the way it plays and all that kind of thing. It's been in development for long enough, so it's not a surprise.
I thought I haven't read all the reviews, but I thought it did pretty well, didn't it, in reviews?
I thought it did okay. Like, obviously, everyone talks about the fact that it's pretty impenetrable, even if you have just playing the mainline games is not enough to understand what's going on. There's a lot of cutscenes apparently, and not necessarily good ones either. But hey ho. No, I definitely enjoyed the first two for what they were.
Oh really? I didn't know.
Going back a while, but so no, I am intrigued, but. Yeah, we'll see. Right, emails.
Okay, if you want to email us, it's podcast@thecomputergameshow.com. Sean Thomas has done so, and he says, I've been playing through Dark Souls for the first time on Switch, using Matt's streams and the Dark Calls podcast as my walkthrough guide for when the game is an obtuse, laborious dickhead. Last night, I beat it. So given, unbeknownst to you three, you've been playing along with me for the past 4 months, I feel like I need to discuss it with you. First up, James. We had a similar experiences and both enjoyed the first half immensely, whilst a lot of the Lord Souls challenges were a bit irritating or unbalanced. But did you ever play the DLC, as they ended up saving my view of the final stretch and included 3 of the game's best boss fights?
Oh yeah, the Arturus fight is my favourite fight in all of Dark Souls, and everything I played in Bloodborne even so far. The Arturus fight is just absolutely amazing, and the DLC is brilliant.
Yeah, I've not played the DLC, so maybe I know I keep toying with the idea of buying it on the Switch because I think it'd be quite nice to play in that form. Yeah. But I'm still hoping that we're going to get like Dark Souls 2 or 3 will come out on that as well because there's much more chance that I'd play them if they did. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how the remastered version. Isn't Dark Souls Trilogy coming, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but the Switch version isn't the remastered version. It's a different thing. Oh, okay. It's not the same as the PS4 version.
But it is still Dark Souls 2 and 3 on Switch, though, right? It's just not a remaster.
Not as far as I know.
No, not that. I don't think so. No.
Oh, is that not coming out on Switch? Oh.
No, I think it's just PS4 and Xbox One, I'd imagine. But yeah. Then he says, Matt, I don't know how you played through that game with the stress of people watching. I found it easier when I turned the sound off. We had similar woes on Ornstein's Smo, and it was the only boss I summoned for. How do you feel about summoning post-game? Parts of the game's appeal or leaving you feeling, hollow?
I mean, the first question, in terms of stress of people watching, I mean, I wouldn't have got through it unless those people were watching, frankly. I mean, and I'm not going to start naming names because the last time I did that, when I thanked people at the end of my Dark Souls 1 stream, I forgot some key people. So, all the regulars who watch Dark Souls and the Bloodborne streams, without all of them, I wouldn't have got through it. So there wasn't really a stress. The only stress is me embarrassing myself on a weekly basis. And speaking of embarrassing, the Ornstein Smo summoning. I mean, I know summoning is part of the game. When I first started playing, I didn't really want to summon at all, and then I just got stuck and I thought, sod it. But the biggest summoning regret I have is definitely Ornstein and Smo. I mean, I was struggling big time. Maybe I should have gone away and leveled up and done some other bosses and come back to them. And that would always be like, oh, well, I didn't, I know I finished the game and that, but, and I know it's part of the game, and Ghost Bro came in to save the day. And that wasn't even the only boss I summoned on. I summoned on a fair few. Not all of them. I give them a good go. But I gave these guys such a massive go. It's like I mean, I think I spent 8 to 10 hours trying to fight these guys, so it's probably for the good of the viewers as well that I did eventually summon. It ended the long national nightmare, but I definitely have regrets about that for sure. Yeah, and I guess I'm not so bothered about it generally, but because I tried so much and just gave up, and I hate giving up. But yeah.
And then he says, Sean, Law, I need it all. I've devoured Bonfireside Chat. Any further suggestions?
I mean, if you've been through all of Bonfireside Chat, you're probably pretty well sorted. But in terms of YouTube stuff, my two sort of go-to ones were Vati Vidya, which is VAATIVIDYA, Vati Vidya, and Epic Name Bro would probably be the one. They're basically, the two of them have pretty much like made like an entire career out of just doing like Soulsborne videos. So
yeah, the Vati Vidya stuff. His voice is amazing, isn't it? It's really calming. And
have you seen him? He's
No,
really buff and handsome. He's really.
it gets worse.
He's fucking ripped as fuck, and he's like.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I sort of imagine like a quite slender, like soft. Well, he's obviously very incredibly softly spoken, but incredibly well spoken. On his videos. But I'm gonna have to find a video. I'm gonna have to find a picture of him now.
Yeah. Those are the two I would recommend off the top of my head. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mike says, love the show and all the streams you've been doing recently. Just wanted to point out something which you seem to have all overlooked. You keep complaining about not being able to link seamlessly enough into the various sections of the show, even though you have your very own champion trumpeter on the team. Why not get James to fire off a little ditty on the battered up trumpet between each section? That'd be proper slick.
I mean, is that out of the question?
It's out of the question.
We can do a lot of stings. You're like,
yeah, you wouldn't have to do them live every time. You just record a load and we'll edit some stuff together.
Yeah. I could put a sick drum and bass beat behind it. And you're like...
Yeah, you see, when Dave was talking about how he was not going to be here for a while, like one of the things I joked with him about was the fact that we were putting together a load of musical stings, and he thought I was serious and wasn't very happy about the idea.
Well, now's the opportunity to do it.
Yep.
Yeah. James, just get me the audio and I'll work my magic. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, Matthew Woolley says, I feel like I'm in a bit of a gaming rut at the moment. A PS4 that in the past years has been my console of choice is now a Netflix machine in the living room of my flat share. I've been enjoying some excellent indie titles on my Mac, including Obra Dinn, Into the Breach and Far Lone Sales, thanks to Sean. But I have a hankering for something bigger and blockbustier. I feel like I could save my money up for one of two things. A telly in my room to scratch God of War, Spider-Man and Red Dead off my must-play list, or get a Switch and get stuck into a Nintendo Classic. Or is there something else I haven't considered? I'm sure you've all had a console sitting underused, and it would be good to know how you dealt with it. See, I'd go, just buy a Switch. Buy a Switch.
That's what I was thinking.
Absolutely. If you're in a gaming rut as well. I mean, I remember I was in a gaming rut when, many, many years ago, and I bought a DS Lite. Well, I think it was a DS at the time, and that totally got me out of my gaming rut, and I sort of fell in love with gaming again. And the Switch has so many amazing first-party titles and also with all the indie stuff. And it just feels like such a game changer, the fact you can play it on your TV or handheld. Yeah, I think the Switch has to be the one. I mean, sure, like God of War, Spider-Man, Red Dead, they'll look stunning on a TV and so on and so forth, and they are all must-plays, absolutely. But I think in terms of a gaming rut and making you maybe fall back in love with gaming again, it has to be a Nintendo console.
Breath of the Wild, man. I mean,
yeah. I mean, absolutely,
it's as good as you've
that's
heard.
The game.
Like and especially if you're looking for something a bit bigger, but also and you think the Switch might be the answer, then Switch and Breath of the Wild, man, you cannot go wrong.
The Switch is always the answer. There's just so much good stuff on it. Yeah. It's I definitely would go for that.
It's just a different vibe to like the Xbox and PS4. It just feels happier and nicer, and that's the perfect thing to get you out of that gaming rut.
Yeah, and especially like he's mentioned he's been getting into more indie stuff. Like there's so much of that on the Switch, and just being able to play it away from the TV or whatever is amazing. So yeah, something
I wanted to ask earlier. I'd love to know the stats from Nintendo about the percentage of people who only play handheld or only play TV or the mix, because I play 99% of it handheld.
I wouldn't say it was 99% in my case, but it's definitely mostly handheld. Yeah. I'd be interested to see if Nintendo do track that stuff. Like if it was,
I think they do.
Do you reckon? I was going to say if it was Sony or Microsoft, I would assume they do. With Nintendo, who knows?
They probably haven't thought that. Yeah, I mean, I have played obviously on TV for something like Zelda and like Mario, some like the larger games, and maybe it's more just saying that it's more just an indictment because I mostly play indie games on it, unless there are like big. Obviously, they haven't had a lot of big first party games other than say Smash Brothers, which I haven't been involved in, and Pokemon. I played that a bit on TV, but that's definitely more of a handheld device for me than a TV one.
Yeah.
Cool. That's it for emails. It's on to tweets. If you want to tweet us, it's at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. Darren Gargett at Desmond on Twitter. What are your initials? I've got a padlock here. Very funny, Darren. Hello. I will say, House and Hunt, there are some mentions to streaming in the next few messages, so you might want to leave the room
now.
You might want to leave the room now. Future exercise. As Matt has got out of his comfort zone playing a horror title much to our enjoyment, are there any genres you would consider giving another shot, maybe for our enjoyment? I mean, are there any genres that you two like hate that you absolutely wouldn't want to try or play?
I mean, I guess
puzzle games.
Oh, go on, sorry. What'd you say?
Puzzle games.
Puzzle games.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I really obtuse and really difficult puzzle game. Yeah, that would be a nightmare to. Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, this is essentially why everyone keeps telling me to stream FIFA, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because that is well out of my comfort zone. So, literally don't even understand the sport it's based on, never mind the game itself.
All 3 seasons of the journey.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, it is happening. It will happen at some point.
Yeah. I mean, real-time strategy games can't do, but I don't think that would even be enjoyable to watch. It'd just be me just sitting there going, "Oh, why am I dead?" I don't. So yeah, I think that's all.
So you don't even think that'd be enjoyable to watch?
What? Just me being shit at real-time strategy games? No, because it's just like I can do the campaigns in them. It's the playing on like online against other people who are just like,
forget that.
We're not expecting you to be like a StarCraft wizard, but
well, maybe you should. I don't know. I haven't got the mental capacity for them, I don't think.
Shame. Jordan Blythe, loving the streams lately, guys. Catching up on YouTube a lot and watching Scaredy Matt, maybe the best of them all. So how about a horror series? I bet everyone would agree, maybe not Matt, it would be amazing and make your channel the funniest on Twitch. Maybe bully Matt into doing it. Like, other people have suggested, I think it's S&W saying, you should do Alien Isolation next. It's like, no, this isn't a series. I'm doing Resident Evil because it's a good game and it's scored well. I'm not going to do that. Although, when I was doing this, I thought, maybe this would cure my fear of being chased and maybe it will make me be fine with horror games. I mean, maybe. It would be nice because I every time I see a trailer for, and I often watch them, but I know of a trailer for a horror film or something that's like that. I'm like, it's a shame really because you can tell loads of these look like really fantastic films. Like Jordan Peele's new film Us looks amazing. It looks way too intense for me, but it would be good if I could handle that shit for sure.
But no, we're not making that a series. I don't think.
So Sergeant Stangrodge, I know a couple of you chaps picked up Nintendo Labo last year. What are your thoughts now? Useless cardboard models getting in the way or good to have and build at the time?
I mean, I'm the only one who owns them, aren't I, here?
Yeah,
I think.
it's just you and Dave, isn't it?
Yeah. See, I've still got in a drawer the robot one, which I haven't made yet.
What?
It's been there for
Was that
ages.
£70?
It was 60, I think, when it came out.
Okay.
It was because it was for Ash's birthday, and
oh, hang on. So that wasn't part of another one. That was one on its own. You just haven't opened.
Yeah. It was one on its own.
When you said it earlier, I just assumed there's one of them out of the kit you haven't bothered with.
Isn't Asher too young for it?
Yes, he is. Yeah.
Okay.
He's 6. Well, he will be 6 really soon. And yeah, he was.
His next birthday.
That's the thing. Well, because the thing is when the other the variety kit, he did play that and he got into that, but the robot one is super complicated and it takes hours to construct, and I just haven't got the willpower at the moment to do it because it's just sitting there in a box. I feel terrible about it.
So what's he getting this birthday so you can just put it in a drawer and forget about it?
I have no idea. I might get this out again. Actually, I might just get this out and just be like, this is
remember this? No,
this
good.
Year.
But do you think he would like or want to play like the vehicle one more, or?
I don't know. I mean, he was really interested in the robot one. It's just that I wasn't interested enough to build it, which but I will do. It will happen,
is he now desperate to build this? But you're like, no, son.
No, he's forgotten. He's forgotten.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Which is
Day to day, no.
See, I'll tell you what's really annoying is I didn't even finish building the piano because he lost a load of the parts, like from the thing, so I can't finish it, which is really irritating. And I still need some spare parts for it. But it was all right. It's just I don't think it did what Nintendo thought it was going to though. It's it certainly wasn't as sort of successful, I think. But it was very satisfying to put those models together. But then you do end up with a load of cardboard which has limited repo value, which is a shame.
Yeah, I mean, it looked cool at the time, but I had no interest in that, sadly. Do you think they'll do any more now? Or do you think that's it for Labo for them in the near future?
I think they'll probably they'll have another stab at it in the summer, maybe.
Yeah,
there'll be one more at least.
It seemed like there was enough buzz around it. I don't know how many actually sold, but...
Not that many, I think, was the problem.
Okay.
It was too expensive, was one of the things.
Yeah.
I do think it could have been a bit cheaper.
And there was that perception that it's like 60 quid for some fucking cardboard, which is not entirely fair, but yeah.
Kurt Lewin at angry_Kurt. After the success of Spider-Man on PS4, which movie franchise would you like to see get its own game, which is actually good, and which developer in a dream scenario? I love a Rocksteady Bond game. A Bond game would be a great suggestion, actually.
It's been a while since we've had a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has, yeah.
I mean...
I'm trying to think.
I mean, I haven't seen them, but I sort of imagine like those Fast and Furious films would make for like a really bombastic...
They've done games of those, haven't they? Surely.
Yeah, we've already had that. We have Forza, didn't we? They did that with it. It's one of those...
yeah, but... I meant
Come
more
on, man. There's loads of street racing driving games. You don't need any more of the bloody
I guess
things.
in my mind, having not seen them, I thought they're more like action films on obviously cars are critical, but there's also other story elements. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, that's a bad suggestion.
It was, yeah.
The Twilight series.
Yep.
Made by Platinum.
I've been slowly catching up on the Mission Impossible films, man. They're fucking good.
Oh,
they are good, yeah.
I sort of warmed my heart to them after I found out that it's basically a passion project for Tom Cruise, albeit one that nets him literally millions of dollars every time.
Yeah.
And what's also great about him is that he does so many of his own stunts. It's not like other films you're like, well, that's definitely green screen. Like, the one in not Fallout, which is the most recent one, the one before that, I can't remember the name.
Is that Ghost Protocol?
Ghost Protocol, where he's like hanging on the edge of a plane. Like, he actually did that. And so every stunt feels quite cool because you think...
no, it's Ghost Protocol, and then is it Rogue Nation, and then...
Yeah,
so fucking many of them.
There's been a lot. I mean, I've loved the Mission Impossible films from the first one, and they've all been excellent.
Yeah.
I watched the latest
one. The first one was great.
I watched the latest one over Christmas, and it's still fantastic. I think yesterday or maybe over the weekend they confirmed the next one's out 2020, and then the other ones after that is out 2021. So, yeah, they're racking them up, but they're always great films. A Mission Impossible game in this sort of style of Spider-Man with crazy set pieces would be excellent. In fact,
in a similar vein, because the one that we actually got was shit. A decent Jason Bourne game would be amazing.
Yeah, that would also be fantastic. Yeah,
because bloody Matt Damon famously did not give his likeness to the game because he took one look at it and he was like, it's just fighting and shooting. This is bollocks. That's not what the story's about, you idiots.
So much more on that. But here's a trailer for the new one. Where
just doing like actual interesting espionage stuff, but like in a like a free form way, right? Like don't just follow the story of the film because we all know that rarely works.
So sort of like Hitman-y free form espionage in that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to imagine that Splinter Cell's back this year, right?
I don't know, man.
Surely it's...
No, I don't think so.
Or do you reckon I'll save it for Xbox too?
Or just not
bother.
You don't reckon?
Yeah. I feel like it's run its course.
That's going to be my prediction for E3 every year until they actually announce it.
Because you got to remember, like Assassin's Creed picked up like Splinter Cell was going to go like off piste a bit, and then that didn't really work. So they took a lot of that and made it into Assassin's Creed, and I feel like that sort of took over.
And I guess they got Watch Dogs as well, and
yeah.
I don't know.
What's going on with Assassin's Creed now?
They're sticking with this as a platform for another year, and then there'll be a new one in 2 years, I think.
Okay, fine. Okay,
I think that's what
spreading
they're
them
doing.
out a bit. That's what. Yeah, they do need to spread them out a bit.
I'm sure Watch Dogs 3 will be out or mentioned this year, maybe.
I'd like to see another Watch Dogs, but it's probably, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, because I think that was not the success I think they were hoping it was going to be.
Yeah,
which is a shame.
Yeah, but I would like to think that they would have learned from a lot of what's made Assassin's Creed so good. I mean, they've obviously taken a year off here and there for Assassin's Creed. And from what I've heard, the most recent one is fantastic, and I don't know. It makes sense to have one that's set in the modern world, and also one that's a bit more of a period piece. But who knows?
I was scrolling through Netflix earlier. I completely forgot that the Assassin's Creed film actually happened.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't very good though, was it?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Terrible.
It's on Netflix if you want to see for yourself. But yeah. Anyway, yeah.
They also announced there's going to be a Resident Evil TV series, didn't they, on Netflix?
Oh, did they?
But it's from the people who made the film.
Oh.
So, I was a bit like, it's a shame, really. Anyway, MS Rangers 999, of the 3 current console makers, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, if you could only keep one manufacturer for the next generation, who would you opt for, and why?
I could tell you who I wouldn't opt for.
Well, Microsoft.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I mean, I think. Hang on.
What do you mean, why?
Well, no, I want your reasons.
Explain yourself, then.
I would be quite disappointed if I only owned an Xbox this generation, because I wouldn't have played that many games. And so, I mean, all of the games that I like, you can't get on Xbox. So that's probably why I wouldn't have been bothered.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, yeah. But it's next generation. I feel like they might have the exclusives next generation.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely going to get all those like Japanese games. They're definitely coming to Xbox next time. It's
Yeah. I mean, I think the answer is the Switch for me, but depending on what day it is, like obviously there are days I veer towards the PS4 instead.
It's the same for me. It's either the Switch or the PS4, really.
Yeah.
But this is next generation. If I think about next generation, right now I'm most excited for what Microsoft might do.
Why?
Because they need to come out swinging, and they've obviously brought us the studios. This cloud stuff could be interesting. I like right now. Sony will do a PS5 and it'll be amazing. It'll be another PlayStation 4 hopefully, unless they do what they've done previously and they've had a successful console. The next one they've totally blown it for whatever reason, and then they keep on that. They keep on that narrative. And Nintendo obviously will be the place to play like these incredible first-party Nintendo games. But if I think about what am I excited, like if someone's saying there's a conference next week, and which one are you most excited for? It'd be Microsoft for sure, because. Because just like last year's E3, I'm like, what are they going to do? There's loads of stuff they could do. They have to come out swinging because they've obviously blown this generation. That's what's like, what are they going to do? I can't wait to see this.
Well, yeah, but you could have said that about any point of this generation as well. I mean, it's like, so you're saying that you would give up games by like Naughty Dog and stuff like that for whatever Microsoft might come up with in the future before they then close those studios down again.
Well, that's the question. I'm not really thinking about the reality, but yeah, if I think about what I'm excited for, I'm excited to see what the hell Microsoft is doing or has to do to turn things around next generation. Sony can carry on doing what they're doing, and it'll be great, of course. Naughty Dog games, incredible, Uncharted, Last of Us, all the other incredible exclusives they've got. I'm really excited for Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, all the other stuff. It's going to be amazing, of course. But Microsoft have to do something.
You're excited about Sea of Thieves too, aren't you? That's the thing.
Who wouldn't be? Have you seen the Switch numbers?
I love the way Matt's brain works, in that it's just like, well, if the thing is currently bad, then surely the next thing it does must be really good.
It has to be good.
More of averages,
exactly. But no,
I know what you mean, because
do you vote like this as well? You're just like, look, the Tories have been really shit this time, so they got to pull something out the bag.
Yeah, if we just give them another shot. Really pull it round.
I was fully taken in by Clegg mania. Let me say that. Anyway,
we all?
You've got to admit, like, Is it not exciting to thinking like what Microsoft might be doing or have to do to like turn it around?
I know what you mean. Because they sort of they already have started turning it around, but broadly speaking, they have fluffed it this generation. So yeah, like the stage is set for them to be back on top next gen, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean they were the 360.
But it's a hell of a gamble. Well, we see Nintendo's the safe choice because they don't ebb and flow like the other two do. They just do their own thing, and
that's true.
Pretty good. I mean,
but
you might
have another Wii U on their hands.
I was going to say, you might end up with the next Wii U, but statistically, you're safer with Nintendo, I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to choose Microsoft because I like a gamble, and
you,
I want to see what's
that.
exciting.
Maybe we should actually do this. This should be a challenge that we
should just go Microsoft for the next 5 years or whatever.
Maybe it will, James. Right? Are we talking about Rise 2? What was it? Was it Lobo Rider? Like that really terrible launch title if you're on the bike. It doesn't matter.
Loco Cycle.
Loco Cycle. What do I call it? Yeah. Lobo Rider. That sounds better. Lobo Rider 2. Anyway, I'm going to go with them. Junkyard Gary Disco at Gary Dutton on Twitter. What would be the worst sport your child or children could get into as they grow up, assuming you were being a good dad, taking them to matches and buying them merch, etc.?
It's going to be golf, isn't it? Or cricket.
Golf's a strong one. I mean, if Isaac got into football, I don't know what I'd do.
Oh, but the chances are incredibly high.
I know.
Like 95% higher, I reckon.
Scares the shit out of me. Not even that I've got anything against it. I'm not going to be able to engage with him.
You can take him to Tranmere. You're like, that's where I grew up as a lad.
And then drop him off. And I'll see you in 90 minutes. Then.
Yeah.
Drop him off to see the Super White Army.
Yeah. For me, there is only one answer, and that's rugby. Now, I can watch pretty much any sport. I mean, like you guys saying golf and cricket. If they're on TV, I will watch them. I enjoy them. I used to love watching bowls, snooker. I mean, curling in the Winter Olympics, anything, right? Yeah. But rugby, that would be the thing. I'll turn it over, watch the news. I've just never engaged with it. I even went a couple of guys at one of my previous jobs that took me to see Super League a couple of times to try and get me into it, and I was just nothing. I love watching Super Bowl, and I've watched NFL highlights and stuff, and I've engaged with that. But for some reason, rugby it just does literally nothing for me. Yeah. So if I got into that, I'll be like, but I guess what I'll do is I'll take them to that, and then suddenly I'll be massively into it. So, but yeah, rugby the one I'm like, I've got nothing. I've got no interest in this whatsoever.
You see, there is a considerable chance that Isaac will be introduced to golf because my father-in-law is well into it, and made all his kids do it, and I do mean made. They were not happy about
Use
it.
That 5-iron.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a very real chance that Isaac's going to get dragged into it at some point. I mean, I will be very. I mean, I don't even know how you begin to navigate these things. Like, if Isaac tells me he is not enjoying it and he doesn't want to do it, then that's it. Like, I wouldn't make him your granddad wants to, so deal with it. None of that. But it'd be interesting to see how he takes to it.
Yeah. I mean, there could be worse sports than golf. I mean, if it gets really good, that's an amazing
Well, no, it's fine. I mean, golf as a sport is fine. It's just watching it I just find it's interminable. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but people do, I guess.
I've got a colleague at work who her kid was. I think he's binned it off now. But he was well into his swimming, potential Olympic material and stuff. And she was just every weekend she had to take him to some competition or something, and he was up at 5 a.m. to go training and stuff. And it's fuck that.
Surely the most annoying part of that is always having to have a pound coin on you. You're like, the lockers again, for fuck's yeah. And finally, Tom Dougherty at Rikaku Police on Twitter. If you all went on holiday together, where would you go and what would you get up to? Now, James, are you the culture sort of person, or let's just go on the beach and just read or fall asleep on the beach for 3 days?
Culture, I hate beaches. Absolutely hate them. It bores the hell out of me.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Yeah.
I mean, I tell you what, I've always wanted to do is I've always wanted to take you and Dave and maybe Sean now as well to China, because I think it'd be amazing.
That'd be awesome. I'd love that because
just tonight take you around there. I think it'd be funny.
Because because I'd love to go, but I quite intimidated about language barrier and stuff like that, and just because I'm a coward. So having you as a guide would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, I went to Hong Kong for that weekend for my brother-in-law's wedding. It was literally a weekend, and it was amazing to be there. And I'd love to go back to Hong Kong. But to see other parts of China with you, James, would be brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. If I ever came into a lot of money, I would make that happen because I think it would be so funny to go to the mainland.
Imagine the YouTube content.
So
Imagine the YouTube content.
It'd be great because people joke about you being the Carl Pilkington of the group, but it's like, no, actually, you're the intelligent one, and you're the one who knows everything. We'd be the ones of it.
It's idiots abroad.
Can we? Anyone fancy a weekend just in the Lake District?
Yeah, it'd be all right.
I guess walking boots are the order of the day. Pub lunches, I'm up for that, I guess.
That's what I mean. Yeah, just good food. Fucking watch the Forza Horizon Festival.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, but beach holidays. I went to Alicante with Jill and her parents. Actually, it's really early on in our relationship, and it's just Alicante is nothing going on there. It was amazing weather, and we went to the beach. But I was like, for fun. I mean, that bores the living piss out of me. I'm much rather go for a city break. I mean,
so you say that. The only time, So I've always been the same, but when we went on our honeymoon, we went to Santorini, and that is the only holiday ever where I've just been time has no meaning anymore, and that's fine. I can just read and have a sleep during the day because everyone else, when you go somewhere really hot and you're like, fuck me, it's hot. Where is everyone? Oh yeah, it's 12 o'clock. Everyone's gone to sleep because you don't be an idiot. Just that license to be do you know what? I'm not we've got enough time that I don't have to worry about rinsing this holiday for all it's worth. Just doing fuck all just felt valid. And that's the only time I felt like that. Normally I'm the same as you guys in that I can't just do nothing. But yeah, that one.
Yeah, every city break for me. I mean, I went to New York for my honeymoon, and it was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And when I went there, I thought, I mean, again, I know you're not in sports, Sean, but I thought this would be the ultimate weekend if you and mates went here. A week or weekend. Obviously, it's New York; it's not cheap. But if you went there together for a sporting sort of holiday, you could see NHL, NBA, NFL, MLS soccer. It would be
no, I'd be well for that.
I know you won't be into it, Sean, but that would be amazing.
No, honestly, because I'm sort of very casually into basketball.
Yeah. If you that'd be an amazing. It's an amazing city, obviously. Anyway, but that's why I guess the best place for us all will probably be Barcelona because that is both beach and city break in one.
Barcelona is amazing. Yeah,
it's just it's one of the best places. Have you been, James?
I've not been to Barcelona.
Yeah,
no.
it's so good. Yeah,
very good. Yeah,
well, Prague is also excellent. I enjoyed there very much.
I'm going there in this year, sometime in summer.
It's very good. Yeah. It's a nice city.
Awesome. That's it for tweets. If you want to tweet, it's at ComputerCamp on Twitter. And that's it for the show. I'm just going to go right into the end bit, Sean.
I was going to say, listeners, just out of curiosity, which is worse, the stream stuff or us chatting about our favourite holiday destinations?
Yeah. The stream stuff, sure. We might have gone a bit heavy, but actually, all of us are just doing one a week, and if you don't watch it, fine. But
I'm not apologising or saying that anyone's answers will affect anything. I'm just curious.
Yeah. Please let us know. Is it holiday? I mean, either we talk about our dreams, holiday destinations, or streaming. Which is worse.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking of streaming, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, I'm streaming Resident Evil tonight, Wednesday at 9 p.m. on twitch.tv/Computer Game Show. I will probably almost literally shit my pants live on air. And because Mr. X I'm definitely going to be seeing him tonight. I'm worried, and I'll probably scream, but we'll get through it together. James is back streaming Deadly Premonition Friday at 9. I'm back with Bloodborne Sunday at 9, and Sean's playing an indie game of his choosing and Play by the Bell on Tuesday at 9.
I mean, I've been meaning to ask you about this. What are the rules, right? Because I think I know what I want to play, and it's definitely a low-budget, weird game, but I think technically it's not independent. I think it had a publisher. Does that still count?
That's fine.
Okay,
Sean, just play what you want. Just play whatever you want. It's fine.
In 1 week, I'm going to turn on. You will be doing a Destiny raid.
Yeah,
it's sort of
and that will be fine. But based on the rules. We might we haven't really discussed this, but we might potentially squeeze in an Apex Legend stream, maybe. But just basically follow us on Twitter at Computer Game Pod, or we'll put our Discord, all the links to all our social channels, of which are pinned to the top of our Twitter account, twitter.com/computergamepod. Just go there. But yeah, any new streams we may announce, we'll put it on there or on Instagram, but just keep an eye out. We might do a stream on that. Who knows? We need more days of the week, but that's what's happening. Speaking of that, if you've got Amazon Prime, you also have Twitch Prime, which means you get one free subscription a month. Please think about going to our channel and subscribing. Kurt Lewin actually asked in the week if you have to do it every month. Yes, you do have to do it every month, and they don't remind you when it lapses because obviously Amazon just want you to not use it, because then suddenly you'll be like, oh, hang on, millions of people are actually using the thing we're giving them for free. We're hoping they don't use it. Yeah, so every month you have to go back and reapply it, but we'd really appreciate it if you did that. And Apple Podcast reviews, if you're in the area of Apple Podcasts and you haven't really left one, it takes 2 seconds. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks.
Let's wrap this up now. Come on.
Well, I've got 15 minutes.
This is like the bad old days. It's like past 11 again.
James, when do we get the money, Farley? Won't even fucking...
Is it just the time you're annoyed with?
Yeah, it's already like, we
10
got
past
this
11.
down. So we were finishing earlier, and now it's like, like the old days
James,
again.
We started late because we watched that Apex thing. Dave came on for a bit, and it's fine.
It's Dave again, isn't it? He's ruined it. It's just it's made it long again.
I know we talk about the Twitch sub stuff quite a lot, but it is really helpful. Like a lot of people do it, and it does mean a lot to us that it actually pays us a bit of cash, because some of it goes back into stuff.
And if we haven't said it a million times already, like I massively appreciate everyone who watches us. You know, we've done loads of stuff recently. It's almost getting on the verge of too much, but there's still loads of people who watch us all the time, and we're really enjoying it. Hopefully, you're enjoying it too. So yeah, it's great fun.
Yeah, and I'd say some of that cash does go back into keeping the show going, and some of it goes into our pockets to get spent on sweets and trainers.
Sweets and crypto.
Yeah. So no, it is nice that people go out of their way to do that stuff, so it means a lot. And I think that is us for this week. It's been a pleasure, boys, and thanks for letting us be natural. Cheers.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.